Shotgun for Wentz. Play fake. Fires to the middle of the field. That ball is picked off by Jalen Ramsey in the end zone. What a play by Jalen. He made up ground, and he picked it off in the middle of the end zone.
Jaguars football is on the air. On the air. This is the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey have all the news and information you need to get you ready for today's game. The Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah & Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Now to get things started, here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
As the second half of the 2018 season gets underway, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in must-win territory. This afternoon, the Jags try to snap a 4-game losing skid in a road divisional game. The Jags at 3-5 face the 3-5 Indianapolis Colts. Kickoff at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy set for 1 o'clock. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey, welcome into the Publix Tailgate Show. We're at the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field, and here we go. Week 10, coming off the bye week. Things should feel a little bit better and positive, but boy, you're up against it here if you're this Jags.
Well, you're up against it if you don't win this game, I tell you that, JP. So you got an opportunity to come out, 8 games left in the regular season, and kind of rewrite the story of 2018 for yourselves. This is, I mean, we've talked about must-wins and critical games. They don't, every week they're going to get more important as the amount of opportunities that you have dwindle. But you look at the landscape today, if you're, a scoreboard watcher, and I start watching teams in the AFC right from the very beginning of the season. And here at the halfway point, you look at the teams that the Jags are competing with for a potential playoff spot, teams like Miami, Cincinnati, Tennessee. You got Houston and Baltimore off this week. All those teams are really tough matchups today. If the Jags can find a way to get a road win with Leonard Fournette back in the backfield, with DJ Hayden back in the defensive backfield today, possibly James O'Shaughnessy, Tyler Patman, and others strengthening his football team, you may look up and you may be within a game of the last playoff spot right now in the AFC with plenty of time to go to get on a little bit of a winning streak.
That's a big picture look at it.
It is.
But in the short term here, I mean, this has been an injured football team that has struggled to get much done, certainly on the offensive side in the first half of football games the last 4 weeks. They've only scored 6 points. So at some point, yes, Leonard back on the field, maybe a change in left tackle today. The tight end group starting to get a bit healthier. Does that help that offense start earlier?
Well, it has to, right? It can't hurt, I wouldn't think, having Leonard Fournette back. You build your entire offense around the guy. To have him back and to have him unencumbered, every report indicates that he's not going to be limited in any fashion. Doug Marone's talked about that all along. Look, if a guy tells me he's not 100%, I'm not going to play him.
That's right.
So we can expect Leonard Fournette to get a full Leonard Fournette workload, and that means somewhere north of 20 touches in this football game. Now, the question is, how effective will he be? In part due to the offensive line and the blocking, in part due to the fact that I would imagine the Colts are going to come out and stack the box and make Blake Bortles prove he can beat them, and just the fact that he hasn't played football in a while. Let's see how effective he is. But in terms of having reasons for hope, getting some of these guys back, if it doesn't give you hope, then you're probably giving up on the season at this point.
Let's get to today's top stories. The roof closed in Indy today as the Jags and the Colts meet at 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium. Getting back after the bye week, head coach Doug Marrone talking Wednesday as the team returned to the practice field for the first time in a few days.
Players came back. They're, team focused, which they should be. And the message to the team was basically what I told them is just, learn from the past, but don't live in the past. And in other words, you act upon, the things that you've learned, but kind of take the anger out of it, take the selfishness, saying out of it. And this way we can go out there today and, I'm expecting them to go out there. We're expecting to work hard and give ourselves an opportunity to win a game on Sunday.
There's head coach Doug Marrone on Wednesday at the start of the practice week around here, trying to just set the mood a little bit and get guys focused here for the stretch run.
Yeah, look, Doug Marrone is a no-nonsense guy, as no-nonsense as they come. But despite that, he'll give you a really detailed, honest answer into whatever you ask him. He doesn't really shy away from telling you how he feels about things. And look, bottom line, we could talk all about all the different storylines. You just have to find a way to win this football game today, and you have to put the team above yourself. You don't look, 4-game losing streak, fingers start to get pointed. It's just the natural order of things when it comes to professional sports. So you want to avoid that with the break coming in the middle of the season. If you can get a win, you're going to forget about the way you felt over the last few weeks, at least for the next week as you prepare to take on a Pittsburgh team that you beat twice last year.
Leonard Fournette expected to be back today. He did not make himself available for the media this week, so we turned to others in the locker room. He's missed all but 2 games with a hamstring injury. He did not talk, of course, but his quarterback is ready for 27 to be back in the backfield with him.
He's kind of our guy, and he's been out for 7 weeks or now, whatever it's been. So I know everybody's fired up to have him back in the lineup. I think, I know I'm excited to watch him run. I know guys are excited to block for him and kind of see him go. We got so used to him doing his thing last year and watching that and being able to kind of do everything off of that. So not having him, has made us change some of the things we do, but to be able to have him back and healthy and ready to go is exciting.
And this certainly would help out Blake Bortles in the passing game if you can balance it out, get that run game going again. That's what this team is built to do, run the ball, throw off the run. They haven't been able to do the first part of that, at least in the last month or so.
Right. They haven't had the confidence that they could be successful doing that. Is the return of Leonard Fournette, the health of the offensive line, enough to make this running game work? We'll find out. But, look, it helps Blake Bortles. It helps him with play action. It helps every aspect of the offense because the defense has to key on number 27, and he's capable of still making plays. I think it helps the defense in a number of ways too, JP. It helps in terms of time of possession. You keep those guys fresher. If you can move the chains more consistently, I think it helps with a general attitude infusion for this football team. Leonard Fournette wears it on his sleeve, very emotional player. I think he's kind of a lightning rod for the success of this offense. And I think the defense, if Leonard Fournette can play well, will get re-energized because of that, and we may see one of their best performances of the season if they can kind of feed off what number 27 does.
The question, though, and I don't know, I just got to ask it, if it goes the other way, if it doesn't go well, what happens?
We've seen it. They'll lose, right? I mean, that's that simple. We've seen it for the last 4 weeks. This offense has been awful for the most part, with brief glimpses of efficiency, but very brief and few and far between. So if they can't get the running game going, look, we've seen Blake Bortles have a couple games against lesser defenses this year where he's been very successful throwing the ball. We saw last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, with Nathaniel Hackett willing to abandon the run and doing it successfully for the most part, moving the ball at about 3 times the clip in the second half as he did in the first half against Philadelphia. So I think there's a chance that Blake, even without a big game from Leonard Fournette, can have one of his better games, kind of a bounce back to where he was earlier in the season. But I think they're going to have an effective running game if they're going to ultimately win this football game.
Now let's flip it around. Jaguars on the brink of it here. Of course, the defense has been the strength of the team this year. And defensive captain Calais Campbell, the defensive lineman, knows there's little room for mistakes and losing football moving ahead.
The margin for error is a lot slimmer as it's ever been, and that's usually just the case. I mean, November games are always, always important, but given the circumstances and where we're at right now, it becomes a lot more, intense. And at the end of the day, though, it's just one ball game, but it's a ball game that in the division you need. You can't give away division games and expect to win your division. So, we're 0-2 in the division so far, and I think in order to win it, you want to have a winning record in the division.
The intensity is there in the locker room this week for linebacker Miles Jack. You can feel it in the building for sure.
It's just kind of like the atmosphere is a little bit more tighter. Obviously, everybody's just, I wouldn't say desperate, but we just need, it's just a must-win week, you know what I mean? So as the weeks go on, it just gets worse and worse. So hopefully this is the week we change it. The sense of urgency goes up, to things like that. So, yeah.
Linebacker Miles Jack there. Just feeling it in the locker room, the 40 minutes a day that media is allowed in the locker room, it's quiet a lot of the times. A lot of the guys are out of there moving around, doing whatever, trying to, I think, stay away from the spotlight right now until they get things together and move. But now guys will come in and talk. We heard from these guys here. But it's just a different feel this week. It's maybe a little tight because they know they have to get something done here.
Look,
right
there
away.
are high expectations for this football team. Self-imposed, media-imposed, everyone imposed on this team based on what they did last year and the amount of talent that they returned. So there's no real excuse for this football team.
And what they said they were going to be, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I say self-imposed by them. They said we want to be an elite defense, an all-timer kind of thing. And for the most part, they've been healthy. Now, certainly, missed DJ Hayden since week 2 when he played really well in the first couple weeks of the season. But you can't tell me being without your nickel corner for a chunk of the season is enough reason for this defense to fall off. Now, the defense statistically among the leaders in the National Football League, but it's the game-changing plays, JP. And I don't know realistically if we could have expected them to keep up the pace of last year, but the sacks aren't there. It's going to be tough getting them today against a team that's only allowed 10, hasn't allowed a sack in 3 weeks. And the turnovers and the points off turnovers haven't been there. The short fields for the offense haven't been there. All this goes hand in hand in the formula that they had that helped them make a run to the AFC title game last year. So a return to that dominance on that side of the football would be very welcome, obviously, today.
Certainly would. We'll come back in a moment. We'll hear from the guys in the booth. Jeff Lageman, Tony Baselli will join us. Those are some of today's top stories. Hey, let's go around the National Football League before we go to Indy, and it's Week 10. Here we go, the stretch run about to begin.
It is about to begin, and one of the big stories is, will Le'Veon Bell show up in the next 48 hours or so to Pittsburgh? According to multiple reports, the running back will not. He's not expected to report to the Steelers by Tuesday's deadline to sign his 2018 franchise tender. Bell has been forfeiting over $850,000 per week up to this point, and if he doesn't show up by 4 p.m. on November 13th, this Tuesday, he'll be ineligible to play for any team for the remainder of the year. Of course, the Steelers visit Jacksonville to play the Jags next Sunday. Their current starting running back, James Conner, is in the league's concussion protocol, although expected to clear it in time to play in that game. Around the National Football League today, despite quarterback Josh Allen being out for another week and backup Derek Anderson also being unavailable due to injury, the Bills are skipping the next man in line, Jacksonville's own Nathan Peterman, in favor of former USC Trojan Matt Barkley, who last played on the final weekend of the 2016 regular season. Peterman has thrown 3 touchdowns against 12 interceptions in a season and a half in Buffalo. The Bills visit the Jets today, and they'll also be with a backup quarterback in the lineup. Josh McCown starts in place of injured starter Sam Darnold. Rob Gronkowski made the trip to Nashville. The Patriots are taking on the Titans today, but the tight end is not expected to suit up as New England will battle Tennessee. Patriots running back Sony Michel will try to avoid his 3rd straight missed game in that contest. He practiced on a limited basis all week and is expected to give it a go as he tries to overcome a recent MCL injury. And other injury news around the league, Bengals running back Gio Bernard, hopeful to return after a month-long absence due to an MCL sprain of his own. But Cincinnati will be without the services of A.J. Green, likely for multiple weeks, as the wide receiver deals with a toe injury suffered last week. The Chiefs not expected to have Sammy Watkins available as he's dealing with a foot sprain as well. Mentioned, obviously, in the division, Tennessee is hosting New England today. Houston is off. The Jags play head-to-head with Indianapolis, so pretty easy to keep track of the AFC South. If you're keeping track of other potential wild card combatants in the AFC, Baltimore's got the day off. The Chargers are in Oakland looking to pick up a win against the Raiders. Miami, tough game on the road against Green Bay. Miami's offensive line is really beat up. And New Orleans, red hot, rolls into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, as we mentioned, without A.J. Green. So if you're a Jag fan, root for Green Bay, root for the Saints today, and of course, root for the New England Patriots over the Tennessee Titans and your own Jacksonville Jaguars. That's about the quadfecta that you need today to feel good at about 7 p.m. tonight.
And it would be nice to get a game back. Start with yourself first.
Obviously,
go win
your game, and then we'll see where the chips fall in these other ones. But these are all – you look at all these contests, and it's not too soon, in my opinion, with 8 weeks to go to start eyeballing, these teams that need to start picking up some losses for the Jags to draw a little bit tighter, and they've all got tough matchups, ones with the exception of the Chargers, but they're kind of away by themselves in the lead right now in the AFC wildcard picture.
There's your look around the National Football League. We'll return and go to Indianapolis for the first time today. Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli are standing by for a game preview. The Jags and the Colts get it started at 1 o'clock in Week 10 in Indianapolis and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
If you are considering selling your home or just wondering what your home might be worth, it's important to talk with someone you can trust, a Weichert agent. Your Weichert agent will prepare a marketing plan that will help you arrive at the optimum selling price and will expose your home to more buyers faster. Contact a Weichert Realtors affiliate today by calling 1-800-USA-SOLD or visit Weichert.com to find the office nearest you. Weichert, local, knowledgeable, personal service. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Register today at jaguars.com/flyaway, and you and a guest could be off on a Texas adventure, courtesy of Smart Pharmacy. Fly with the team to watch the Jags take on the Houston Texans on December 30th. You and a guest will enjoy 2 seats on the team plane, lodging at the team hotel, ground transportation, and pregame sideline passes. For a chance to win this exclusive Smart Pharmacy experience, visit jaguars.com/flyaway for complete details. Good luck, and let's go Jags.
This is the Pepsi that your father drank and your grandfather drank.
When I was your age, we were.
This is the Pepsi that your Uncle Ted drank when rock sounded like this. This is the Pepsi for American pastimes. Whether you're tailgating at a speedway or courtside watching your favorite player make a breakaway,
He scored!
This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Technology today is always changing, but one thing has remained consistent for the past decade in Jacksonville. CSI Tech is your partner for finding the top IT talent in Northeast Florida. Across the full spectrum of IT positions, CSI Tech can find the right fit for you. And with their award-winning people, done right philosophy, you can feel confident in the results. Call CSI Tech at 800-582-0828 or go to peopledoneright.com and partner with CSI Tech, part of the CSI companies and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Looking to tailgate your dream RV this football season? Visit Campers Inn RV and shop their huge selection of fifth wheels, motorhomes, and travel trailers from the top manufacturers. Plus, with their integrity pricing guarantee, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. As a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. Visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And that means treating people better with friendly, personal service that's kept our members happy since 1952. A smile and personal greeting when you enter the branch. An online or phone chat for those quick questions, and a call center that's open every day. If you believe that great service is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HenaniaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. The Jags and the Colts coming up at 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indy. JTA's Game Day Express is back and ready for action. Don't get stuck in game day traffic. Park at any of the 5 convenient locations and then hop on board and take it to the bank. It's time for First Rounds on Us.
New York Jets, first-round choice, Jeff Lageman.
Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle Southern California, Tony Baselli.
Only way to the top is looking out for number 1, and that's us. Keep looking out for number 1.
For the first time today, we head to Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indianapolis, and we visit with Jeff Lageman and Tony Baselli. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, JP. In fact, can we hurry this up? Because me and Baselli want to get down to the field and do some yoga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're into yoga now, Lux.
I've always been a yoga den guy, but, I mean, I'm trying to figure out why they have a yoga class on the field right now here at the stadium. I don't get it, man.
And it's a full yoga class, like with the mats.
Yeah.
Now, these players or these fans? What is
no,
it?
like I don't know what they are. They're fans.
We're kind of curious, but we're going to go down and join them. So let's hustle this along.
I got to get a downward dog in.
Okay, we'll get right on that. So let's start off with the biggest story today throughout the week. Leonard Fournette is back and is full and is off the report this week. What kind of effect do you expect with Fournette in there, guys?
You want to
go ahead,
first?
Jeff.
I'll start
Because we agree.
We don't know, and
you're being nicer than I will be.
Well, okay, I'll say this: last year, when you saw Leonard Fournette at the early part of the season effective, it gave the team a bump. Offensively, it gave him confidence, I think. But then the Leonard Fournette later in the season that was playing somewhat injured, he was an inferior back. I don't even think I'd consider him average. I mean, he was like 3.6 yards per carry. For the year last year, he was 3.9 a carry. So, you hope that you're going to get a running back that is not hesitant, that is not concerned about opening it up with a hamstring injury that obviously has prohibited him from coming back one time already. So, I mean, if anybody can tell you or anybody says that they know what you're going to get out of Leonard Fournette, they would be lying.
I don't know, but I'm not expecting much. I mean, we were talking in the booth about 10 minutes ago, and I set the over-under of 70 yards for the game of rushing yards.
Wow.
And Jeff and I took the under.
Yeah, I'm taking the under just because I think that they're going to want to, and even though Doug Marrone said that, you know, when you get a running back, it's going to be full speed or not, I have a hard time kind of believing that, and I have a hard time believing, not that I'm saying that Doug's lying, I'm just saying that to be able to expect a guy to come back from injury and then for him to have 20-plus carries in a game, I think is crazy because you're going to want to end up giving some of those reps to Carlos Hyde and T.J. Yeldon because they've been playing. They've been getting the reps. So I don't know, JP, and I hope that whatever they get out of them, it's positive because right now they need something offensively to get it going because if you look at the last 4 games in which they've lost every game, every week you've kind of had the same attitude. Where are they going to get the points from offensively? And they haven't been able to score any meaningful points. I mean, 2 weeks ago was probably the first game where you had some meaningful points against against the Philadelphia Eagles, but it was few and far between.
All right, guys, let's put Fournette aside for the moment, and we'll see how he performs today. But looking at the wide receiver core, what are you expecting in terms of the playing time, the targets for a guy like DJ Chark compared to Keelan Cole, who's been struggling to hang on to the football?
I would put Chark ahead of Keelan Cole. Right now, I think D.D. Westbrook's their best receiver, and so I would roll out D.D. and Chark as my 1 and 2 guys. Keelan Cole has not played well. And it's interesting, after the magical one-handed catch,
It's gone downhill.
It's gone downhill.
Yeah, I mean, and right now he has 6 drops, and the Jaguars wide receivers lead the NFL as a whole with 25 drops. T.J. Yeldon has 6 of them, so I mean we can't kind of bypass that and not mention that T.J. Yeldon has had drops as well. I mean, all of the Jaguars wide receivers have had drops, but as far as what happened to Keelan Cole, I mean, this was a guy that was arguably the best wide receiving deep threat that the Jaguars have, and you were hoping that they would be able to combine him with DJ Chark's deep ball ability and stretch the field and scare teams. And Keelan Cole right now is playing with zero confidence. He's playing poor. And you have to give those reps to DJ Chark. Now, look, DJ is not without fault. In the Eagles game, he drops a touchdown pass. That would have provided a huge momentum boost in that ball game for this football team, and they didn't get it. So, look, DJ Chark, it's his opportunity just because he's young and he's ascending. He's a second-round pick. And it's somebody different to give an opportunity to. But, look, I mean, let's not get overly excited about DJ Chark because he had his missed opportunities as well 2 weeks ago.
I'm not overly excited about anybody on that side of the ball. Are you?
No, and I do hope that the return of O'Shaughnessy helps them out somewhat in the passing game where Blake has somebody that he has confidence in to where he can make some easy throws.
I mean, that's fair, but the biggest issue I have with if you look at the tight end position, is they can't block at the edge right now in the run game.
Well, fortunately, in this game, Tony, who scares you with the Colts, though, on the edge?
Okay,
nobody.
Well, that's fair, but I'm not saying someone scares me, but Jeff, watching the tape, our tight ends struggle in one-on-one run blocking on an edge defender.
Yep, that's very true.
And so I don't care. I'm not saying they struggle with great players. I'm saying they struggle in general blocking the edge.
Tony, national reports that Eric Flowers will make his Jaguars debut today. What do you expect, and what would that mean for this offense and at the left tackle position if he's out there today?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
It means they still don't have a left tackle, in my opinion. This is a guy who last year was not very good. And to the point where the New York Giants felt like they needed to go spend a ton of money and make Nate Stoller, who is not one of the best left tackles, a good player, but make him the highest paid left tackle in football. And move him to right tackle, which then he was demoted and cut. And so I don't have – now, I hope the change of scenery got him to bend his knees and stop leaning and reaching and grabbing and ducking his head. I hope that changes. But if it doesn't, I have very low expectations.
Defensively, 23 touchdown passes for Andrew Luck this year, 12 of those to tight ends. How do you cover the tight ends today if you're the Jaguars defense?
Well, you got to have a lot of guys because they have a lot of tight ends. I mean, Jack Doyle, Ryan Hewitt, who is kind of iffy on the injury front. Mo Alley Cox had a phenomenal catch 2 weeks ago that was just unbelievable. Eric Ebron leads the league as far as tight ends go with touchdown catches with 7, and Eric Swope. I mean, they've got some good tight ends. And I think the big reason why the tight end group has become such a focus for the Colts is because the wide receiver position for them is not very good. T.Y. Hilton for the last number of years has not been the T.Y. Hilton of old, to where you came into this game and went, oh my gosh, how are you going to cover T.Y. Hilton? He hasn't been that presence for them. He's got one 100-yard receiving game this year. Last year, I thought at times that he quit on this football team when he didn't have Andrew Luck and he had Jacoby Brissett throwing the football. So, JP, even though it's a positive that the tight end group has been good for the Colts, it also points out somewhat of a negative in that the Colts really don't have a wide receiver core that's all that good. Now, the backs have been a big factor for them as well. You know, the rookie Nyheim Hines has been a good receiver coming out of the backfield. He's got 34 catches, and
he can fly too.
He can run, and Jordan Wilkins has been a capable receiver. Marlon Mack is not a good receiver.
Jeff,
for the Colts.
let me stop you real quick, because I think what you're saying, and I want to simplify it. This team's good on offense because Andrew Luck is the quarterback.
Yes,
I mean, whether it's the tight ends, the receivers, the running backs, and on top of it, right now, I think which surprises both of us a little bit, the offensive line's playing really well.
Well, they're playing well up front, and they're running the ball. Look, the last 2 games, and I get it, it's not against great teams, the Buffalo Bills and then the Oakland Raiders.
Bills are a pretty good defense, though.
But they have run for over 200 yards in each of those ball games, and Marlon Mack is back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. And, look, it's been a long time since the Colts have run the football effectively and then executed a 4-minute drill at the end of the game, and they've been able to do that, and I think in large part because much like Leonard Fournette, I think, provided a mental boost for the Jaguars last year, I think the drafting of Quentin Nelson 6th overall for the Indianapolis Colts has changed their mindset and has given them – and he's a good football player. Gosh almighty. Him and Ryan Kelly together, who's a first-round pick out of Alabama. Anthony Costanzo, he's a solid left tackle. And they've got a rookie playing right tackle, but they've done a very good job up front. He's only been sacked 10 times on the year. He hasn't been sacked in the last 3 games. And Andrew Luck looks very, very calm in the pocket, which Andrew Luck of old, I mean, he was looking to get out of the pocket and create something on his own, and he's not having to do that. And wisely so, because he's got an injured shoulder. And the reality is, when you watch him on tape, he is very controlled in his throwing motion, and I think that's due in large part to the injury that he's had. And I don't think that he has the zip or the mustard, so to speak, on his arm that he once had. And maybe he gets that back, but I don't think he has it back right now.
All right, guys, so if you've got a team that hasn't allowed sacks in the last 3 games and only 10 on the season, what's the best approach defensively to try to take Andrew Luck and make him a little bit uncomfortable today?
Well, you better stop the run. If you don't stop the run, you have no chance.
Right. You got to get second and long, third and long, obvious passing situations. And then Jeff and I talked about it on Thursday. Because of the confidence in Costanzo and the weakness on the right side, my guesses are going to go help that right side of the offensive line, which would put Ngakoue one-on-one with Costanzo, and I think that's advantage Jaguars. I think Ngakoue can get after him pretty good.
Yeah.
So, you got to – at the end of the day, you need your playmakers, Ngakoue's of the world and Malik Jackson and the rest of those guys up front. They have to start winning some one-on-one battles.
And I will say this about Ngakoue. I love him. I think he's a very good player, and I really thought that this year he would have some new tools in his tool bag to rush from the left side.
He doesn't.
But we're not seeing that at an effective rate. So I think the coaches also in the bye week had to really look long and hard at where they've been utilized in Ngakoue, and they need to put him back where he has been his best, which is a right end, and try to find ways to keep him on the right side as much as possible on whatever down he's on the field, because that's where he is at his best. That's his best side as a pass rusher, and whether it's Anthony Costanzo or a Pro Bowl left tackle, that's where Ngakoue's at his best.
All right, guys, get ready. Fantasy results and fantasy picks are right around the corner. I know you guys are eagerly anticipating the standings this week. We'll come back. Also, a little bit later, Dante Moncrief going back to Indianapolis today, his former team. We'll hear from the Jaguars wide receiver. Jags Colts at 1 o'clock. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
At Papa John's, we like to say, better sausage, better beef, better bacon, better julienne cut Canadian bacon, better pepperoni. Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium meats pizza made with 5 premium meats free of artificial flavors or fillers. Or our new barbecue meats pizza made with smoky Southern-style barbecue sauce for only $6.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat? Let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
On-airport parking at Jacksonville International Airport will help punt the stress from your travel itinerary. Their garage facilities offer defensive coverage from the weather and are just one 50-yard dash from the terminal. Economy parking rates are salary capped at $5 a day. Extra points for free shuttle service to and from the airport. To learn how on-airport parking options tackle the competition, visit flyjax.com. That's flyjax.com.
Did you hear? The last 2 years, the Jaguars returned a punt for a touchdown, earning local families $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Lauren Brooks here, letting you know that could be you this season. Visit any Dreamfinders Homes model and register to win the Take It to the House promotion for your chance at scoring $100,000 towards your Dreamfinders home. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Yingling Traditional Lager, the beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
We're back. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. Busy schedule at Daly's Place. Coming up November 17th, Rudy in concert featuring the Jacksonville Symphony. And December 1st, the big ticket with Weezer and Foster the People. Tickets at dailysplace.com. We welcome back Tony Baselli, who will be at the Rudy Show, and Jeff Lageman. And we welcome in Frank Frangie for the first time. Hi, Frank.
Yeah, I will not be there.
The right front row.
No.
For the SC guy. Yeah.
Not a chance.
Frank, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. How's everybody today?
All's well.
We're
good. Fantasy time. Mike, where do we stand, bud?
Well, let's look back. Last time we did this was the London game against Philadelphia a couple weeks ago. And just to recap how that week went, Frank, or his advisor, had a bad week. Frank, sorry to tell you. You had 33 total points on the week. That was the low point total.
Congratulations.
Tony, you had Joe Mixon score you 28, but Alex Smith and T.Y. Hilton didn't do much else for you. You had 45 points for the second low total of the week.
Dang it.
JP Shadrick only got 1 out of Carlos Hyde.
Sweet.
Really good picks of Trubisky and Adam Thielen, though. Got you 49 total out of the trio.
Good day at the office.
Good for third. Yeah. And Logs, I just can't seem to gain any ground on you. The good news is I didn't lose any ground on you. Your team of Andrew Luck, James Conner, and A.J. Green, and my team of Jared Goff, James White, and Stephon Diggs each posted 78 points for the best of the week. And because I selected behind Jeff last time, I'll pick ahead of him this time. So the draft order is Frank, Tony, JP, myself, and Jeff. Loggeman leads the way with 566. I'm at 509. JP still strong in third with 473.
Yep.
Tony at 427 is in fourth, and Frank Frangie has cracked the 400-point barrier at 401.
Finally.
But wait a minute, didn't Baselli claim that JP wasn't going to be in the top 3 or something like that?
Well,
at the end of the year.
Come
on, buddy. We're halfway home, Logs. Take it easy, bud.
He's got about a 46-point advantage.
Don't jinx it.
Right now to hold down that third spot. So, Frank, the board's yours when you're ready.
Yeah, the first to worst tour continues. Happy to report. I'll take Phillip Rivers for 100.
That's the guy I was taking.
Are
you kidding me?
Everybody has
sorry.
one quarterback
really
on their
badly
list
about
this week.
that.
I have no idea who I'm picking now. I'll go Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan off the board to Tony Baselli. JP.
Dang it. Give me Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Everybody's going quarterback crazy early. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt at running back.
Almost took him.
But you didn't.
I didn't.
So I'm going to go Kareem Hunt. Jeff, you got back-to-back picks here.
All right, I will take Melvin Gordon, and I will take Davante Adams.
Adams, all right. I will, let's see. I'll take Davante Adams. You know what? I'm going to wait. I can get my quarterback on the way back. I'll take Julio Jones at wide receiver this week for the Atlanta Falcons. JP, you got Tom Brady. Need a running back or a wide receiver?
Oh, gosh. Give me Odell Beckham.
Odell Beckham Jr. Back to Tony, who's got Matt Ryan.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb it is, Tone. Frank, you get your running back and your receiver here.
I'll take Ezekiel Elliott, please. Okay. And did you say Davante Adams is gone or not?
Yes, Jeff took him.
You did take him. That's no good. Odell Beckham Jr., is he gone?
He just went a moment ago, yes.
But that's fine. Yes. Keep going.
Apparently you're not getting real-time updates from the advisor.
I'll have to take Tyler Boyd. I bet he's not gone.
Tyler Boyd is off the board now. Tony, your receiver, please.
Take Josh Gordon, man.
I got 3 guys I'm thinking. Mike, you have a fantasy show, right?
I have several, yes.
Yeah, so let's act like I'm a calling guy, okay?
No, we're not doing this.
Frank,
no.
Hey, Mike, this is Tony from Ponte Vedra. I'm calling in. I got a PPR league. I got a couple guys I need to choose from. I'm thinking Josh Gordon or I can't think of the other guy's name, so don't worry about him.
I'd go with Gordon out of those choices right now.
How about this guy I like? I got a guy right here I want to tell you about.
How about Cooper Kupp?
How about Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
I like Marquez Valdez-Scantling actually a good bit, but I don't know if I'd play him over Josh Gordon.
Okay, we'll go with Josh Gordon. Thank you.
Josh Gordon it is. All right. There you go. JP, back to you.
I need a running back, right?
You need just a list of 6, JP. I'll help you whittle it down if you.
Give me, for some reason, and this is a dumb pick, so shocker, I know, Adrian Peterson. He has no offensive line, but I'll take him.
Peterson lost both his starting guards for the year.
I know.
All right, coming back, I will take Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and that leaves Jeff for a quarterback pick.
I'll take Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. All right, so here's what we have. Frank Frangie, Phillip Rivers, Ezekiel Elliott, and Tyler Boyd. Tony Baselli goes with Matt Ryan, Nick Chubb, and Josh Gordon. JP has Tom Brady, Adrian Peterson, and OBJ. I've got Aaron Rodgers, Kareem Hunt, and Julio Jones. And Jeff has Carson Wentz, Melvin Gordon, Davante Adams. And a reminder for listeners, we can only use each of these players one time on our team all season.
Mike,
yes.
Question. Did you say that JP has Tom Brady?
He does.
Yes.
Can I make a change? Because I don't want to be rooting for Josh Gordon because I got to catch him. Can I make a change?
It's up to the panel if you guys are okay.
No, he's done. Move along.
No way.
That's a no.
Because here's the thing. I don't want you to come out of the spot where you're going to get a lot of points. Okay, you trust me, you're good.
I know, but if Josh Gordon gets a lot of points, so does Tom.
Maybe
Brady.
it'll be a Julian Edelman reverse kind of a trick play pass to Josh Gordon that gets him a touchdown.
All right, whatever.
Gosh, Tony.
Well, I'm trying to catch you. It's all I care about.
Yeah, you got a lot of weeks to go. You'll be okay.
All right.
There you have it.
Are we done now?
We're done.
We're done.
See you,
Goodbye.
Tony.
Mike, thanks for the tip. I'll call in
Hopefully
next week.
it works.
Go
Yeah,
study
I'll next week.
Study some receivers. Tony Baselli, Jeff Lageman back with us shortly. We visit a little longer now with Frank Frangie with the Frangie File, the voice of the Jaguars with us in Indianapolis. The roof's closed today, Frank. That's good news.
Yeah, it's particularly good news when it's about 28 degrees, too. That's what makes it very good news, JP. Cold here in Indianapolis. Cold last night. We all, the radio crew kind of went out to Harry and Izzy's and had a little dinner last night, and we walked about a block and it was cold. You know it's cold when it's cold in a block.
Yeah, that's not a bad little place to eat dinner.
Radio
either.
crew needs to toughen up.
Well, we're not tough. It's not a tough group, Mike, you're dealing with. I think we knew that going in. But,
Understood. Does Leonard Fournette bring the needed toughness today, Frank? Not just to this offense, just as a general kind of infusion of energy and emotion and attitude that maybe this team's been lacking a little of.
Well, that's the whole thing, isn't it, Mike, is how much does 27 change him? I think that's what everyone wants to know. Look, there's not a lot of answers out there. It's not a great receiving core. We've had that conversation. I heard you guys talking about it with Jeff and Tony earlier. Blake Bortles has struggled. He's been up and down, but he is playing with a line that's been up and down and a receiving core that is struggling. So the only real hope to breathe energy into the offense is 27. So I hope so. I do believe they're a different team when he's in the game. I felt that way all last year. I felt that way. Mike calling out formations and number 27's in there, you felt better, right? So I think he's got to change the team. They are a better team when they have 2nd and 4 than when they have 2nd and 9. And they have far more 2nd and 9s when Leonard Fournette is not in the game. So I think he's going to, Lord knows I hope he changes the energy offensively and with the team, and I think he will.
Frank, it's funny how quick things can change, certainly in this division. Remember about a year ago, it was, the Jags have the best kind of quarterback situation going on right now. Blake Bortles is playing well. He's got all these parts around him. Andrew Luck's hurt in Indianapolis. Deshaun Watson's hurt in Houston. Marcus Mariota stinks. That is all kind of changed all of a sudden with all these injuries around Blake. The offense is struggling. Houston's won 6 straight. Andrew Luck's back and still playing pretty well. And Mariota, who knows what's going to happen in Tennessee, but they're ahead of the Jags in the division. It changes in a hurry in the AFC South.
You know something, JP? That's a great point. I still think there's a lot of the chapters left to be written with 3 of those quarterbacks. Blake Bortles is still 26 years old, right? I don't know how it's going to end for Blake in Jacksonville. I think Deshaun Watson looks like a really good player, but he's a young guy. The league's going to punch back there some. And I'm still not sure what to think of Mariota. I like Mariota. He's athletic. I don't know that he's a great player. But here's one thing you do know. The guy that plays here is pretty doggone good. And that's the scary part of this game today, is that Andrew Luck is really good. He's got 23 touchdown passes already. Does he have the big arm he once had? Maybe not quite as strong as it was, but he knows how to play. He's almost 30 years old now. He's a 29-year-old guy, so he's a seasoned veteran. I think of all the quarterbacks in this league or in this division, JP, there's still going to be some musical chairs with Houston, Tennessee, and Jacksonville. But you know what you've got here. It's one of the better players in the league when he's playing well, and I think that's the danger and the scary part of today's game. I think the Jaguar offense will be better, Mike, to your question, with Leonard Fournette in there. But the scary part is, what does number 12 do for the Colts? He's an awfully good player.
Frank, we always hear from Doug Marrone, every game's a must-win game. Players say we get up for every game the same because we only play one a week. But do you think there's a greater sense of urgency right now? They have to realize with 4 consecutive losses at 3-5, they cannot afford to lose another division game.
John Ozier, who you'll have on later, Mike, came on our show this week, comes on with us on Mondays. He made a great point. He had a great line. He said, if you call enough games must win, eventually you're going to get to one that really is, right? This one is. I can't imagine there's a more important game. You've had the off week. The first half of the season's over. You've got to go find some energy or refine that energy somehow, some way. So I can't imagine that if you lose this game, here come the Pittsburgh Steelers. A, they got a chip on their shoulder because of what happened last year. B, they're playing very, very well. You don't want to come home and play a red-hot Steelers team and be 3-6 and have lost 5 in a row and have lost again in the division. This is a gigantic game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's no other way to say it. As big a game as they've played in my mind in a long time.
All right, have a great call of it today, Frank.
Okay, fellas, thank you.
Frank Frangie with the Frangie File joining us at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. We'll return with Jags Director of Player Development, Marcus Pollard. The Jags and the Colts kick it off at 1 o'clock in Indianapolis. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
What do our Jags do to beat the heat? Cool down with the smooth and creamy deliciousness of a Yobi frozen yogurt. All Yobi low-fat or fat-free frozen yogurts are made with real milk, no artificial flavors, and some are as little as 25 calories per ounce. So it's easy for our guys to be game day ready. Plus, all Yobi's great toppings and fresh-cut fruit are included. So cool down like the big cats. Visit myyobi.com to find a location near you. And to see all the latest offers and tasty new flavors added every month, download the Yobi app. Yobi is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Okay, so we're here to see who's going to go for the win. First off, Molly took it to the next level with the chairs and the coolers.
Here comes Emma, bringing it with those killer boots and that portable grill. Oh my, I think she's going for it.
Mom, I think the hot dogs are on fire.
Hold on, honey. Ladies, where did you go to get ready for the game?
Stein Mart. Visit any one of our 6 locations in Jacksonville for all your tailgating needs as we proudly support the Jaguars this season. Stein Mart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
When you look around, you might feel pride is in short supply these days. Everything's being disrupted. But Ford has been around for 115 years, and we know the only constant is change. So, disruption? Yeah, it's what we do every day. You see, we still take pride in what we build and how we build. We even take pride in taking pride. And the world could use more of that right now. Because if you don't believe in what you're doing, why do it at all? Build Ford proud.
Be the MVP of your next tailgate with the official wing of the Jacksonville Jaguars from Dick's Wings and Grill. Whether at the stadium or cheering from home, game day every day with Dick's 365 wing varieties, burgers, wraps, and more. And for somewhere to catch all the sports action, Dick's Wings and Grill's 23 area locations have been a local fan favorite for more than 20 years. For the best wings, ice-cold craft beer, and best fans, feed where the big cats feast. Visit DicksWingsAndGrill.com for a location nearest you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Some things make a house your home. Like clean, fresh sheets that make a bed with the soothing scent of fabric softener your thing. When drying clothes with natural gas, you get faster, gentler drying times, save money, and earn a rebate up to $150. Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. It's Week 10. The Jags and the Colts coming up at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Let's go to Indy and welcome in the guy who built that stadium. Here he is, Marcus Pollard.
Holding it down.
How are you? The house that Marcus built. Forget Peyton, right?
Yeah, forget all about that guy. I built this place.
It's interesting, right? You know, it's funny getting back. This Colts team uses like 17 tight ends on their offense. I don't know how much you watched of Indy this year, but how much of an advantage is that for Andrew Luck maybe trying to still come back and overcome some shoulder stuff?
Yeah, I think it's vital to have quality tight ends, not just because I played the position, but I think it's vital because they're asked to run, block, pass, protect, and catch the football. No other position on the field is asked to do that as much, maybe the running back. But so to me, when you have guys that can do that job and give him a bailout and guys that can get yak yards after a short throw, it's great for Andrew Luck. You know, coming back off the shoulder surgery, trying to get back into a groove, to me, throwing to the tight end is a great way for him to get back into a groove. But hopefully not today.
Right.
Marcus, this team, the Colts, has not given up much in terms of pressure on the quarterback this year. Only 10 sacks, second best total in the league from their perspective. Is that more due to the offensive line playing well, or you've got a seasoned quarterback back under center who knows how to get rid of the ball quickly?
I think it's a combination of a few things. Great play calling, great offensive line play, great getting the ball out, and the receivers getting open and the opportunity to get that ball out. So to me, I think they're strong in all 4 areas that way, because you can't just say it's great line play, but then what if Andrew Luck is holding the ball too long? What if the receivers don't get open? What if the wrong play call? So to me, when you get into a situation like they're being so productive and lack of sacks, is because all 4 phases of that is working well for them right now.
Leonard Fournette is back and available and ready to go today. He kind of avoided the media and all that stuff this week. Didn't want to do all that, even though he was on the report full all week. It seems like he's just eager to get back out and get back on the field. Where's his head right now? How much do you talk to Leonard?
I talk to Leonard quite a bit. I think he's in a good place, but I think today will tell a lot about where he is mentally as he comes back from this coming back off of this injury. So if he can get some production today, the line can block well, we can get off to a great run start. I think it'll just help him transition into later games in the year, especially next week against Pittsburgh. We can come out today and get him some confidence, get him running the football, help Blake, help our offensive line, and I think he can do that. We're in a great situation.
If he has that confidence and he plays like that, Marcus, does that trickle down to the rest of the team?
Absolutely. You guys were talking earlier. I think he's just that catalyst that allows us to be confident with that swagger that we had last year going late into the season. That'll give us an opportunity to play with that kind of confidence that can kind of steamroll and get us going like we did last year. He's that kind of player.
Okay, no high school player or coach of the week this week because the season's winding down, right?
Seasons are winding down. They're starting the playoffs, and right now we're trying to hopefully we have a lot of schools that made the playoffs, and particularly some of the coaches that made the coach of the week, because they'll get an opportunity to win Coach of the Year. And so hopefully we'll bring that to you folks in a couple of weeks.
Oh, sounds good. Let's get a W today. Stop the slide in Indy, shall
Let's
we? Coming
stop
off
the slide. Let's do it.
Marcus Pollard in
Holding
Indianapolis. Yes, he is. He's holding it down each and every week in the broadcast booth on the road. There you have it. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. Let's get back to a few of the storylines for today's game. We mentioned it earlier a moment ago. Dante Moncrief going back to Indianapolis, a guy who was a draft pick there. Didn't quite live up to the potential in Indy for a number of reasons. He had his own injuries. They've had 4 different quarterbacks or whatever, 3 over his time there with Andrew Luck's issues and injuries there. For Dante Moncrief, going back to his old place is a pretty interesting thought today. A guy who needs to try to get some things done here with the Jacksonville Jaguars as well.
It's a big game, division game, going back to where I started, so it's going to be a lot of emotions. But you got to go out there and play and make plays like you've been doing, so don't try to make it too big. Just go out there and do what you usually do. I mean, you was there 4 years, so anytime you leave somewhere, you got family, you got friends, and the friendship that you made there, so yeah, it was pretty tough. Not doing extra tickets. You want to come, you can come, but not doing extra tickets.
You're on your own.
Yeah, I mean, you got old teammates, old friends that still on the team, so of course we was talking or whatever, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to football, it's football.
So Dante Moncrief has a little bit of history in Indy, of course. What do you make of his season so far here, Mike?
Not good. Not productive. I mean, with brief spurts of productivity in between. You paid the guy $9.6 million. That you paid him like you expected him to be the number one threat in your passing game this year. And granted, just because guys are on a rookie contract, they're not going to make a whole lot of money. Doesn't mean D.D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole, DJ Chark can't outperform him. But you went out there, you said $14.5 million is too much to pay Allen Robinson on a one-year franchise tender. And so you saved $5 million and you went with a guy who's had a history of injuries and a history of underperforming, quite frankly, in Indianapolis. He's got great physical tools. He can run all day. He's a big guy, but he doesn't play big all the time. It hasn't been great at high-pointing balls, fighting for balls that are contested. He's had a couple of games where he seems like he's been the focal point of the passing attack, but the rest of the time he's been pretty much a non-entity. I think he's a talented guy. I just don't think he's at this point, a game changer or a difference maker for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We heard from Jalen Ramsey in the locker room this week, as we do each and every week, and he was asked about the matchup today against T.Y. Hilton, the Colts wide receiver.
To be honest, me personally, I'm not too much worried about anybody. I'm not really worried about matchups or anything like that. I'm just going to go out there and do me. Play how I know I can play. Like I was just telling him a second ago, I'm not too much worried about it. What special connection or whatever they got going on over there. I'm just going to do me. We're going to do us over here. We're going to try to get the job done as best as we can.
We're going to do me. We're going to do us, and the Jags need to do their thing today.
It's a new Jalen, apparently, because he never had problems in the past commenting on specific players. Now he doesn't care about any connection that Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton may have, which, by the way, hasn't been fantastic this year. So I get it, you know. There are people that say Jalen talks too much, and then they turn around when he doesn't say much, they complain. So I'm not going to complain that he wants to be a little less verbose if that's the direction he wants to go. It is. I'm wondering if this is a permanent thing, or is this now just the rest of this season kind of attitude?
I was on an interview this week in, I think, Fort Myers, some Naples down there, and they're asking, is this a problem? His all of a sudden he's quiet in the locker room. I'm like, does it bother the locker room? I'm like, no, it's Jalen.
Right. He's still going to talk during the game. He's still probably yapping at practice.
He's gonna answer questions. He's gonna be fine. And when they're not playing well, he's gonna answer like
JP,
this. When they're playing well, he's gonna answer like you want him.
Right. It'd be the opposite of a problem, right? I mean, the only problem that players' comments make is if they stir up enough that other players have to respond to them. If he's saying, hey, I don't have much to say about T.Y. Hilton, I'm going to go out and let my play do the talking, how can that? I don't understand why that's a problem in the locker room, but it is definitely a change in how he has gone about things in the past.
It is. Covering tight ends, a big storyline today for the Jaguars defense. This Colts offense throws to a bunch of them. They had a game earlier this year that they threw touchdowns to 3 different tight ends in the game. Well, the good thing for the Jaguars is that they have a tight end whisperer, allegedly, safety to Sean Gibson.
They have 2 of them, 2 that they trust, 2 productive tight ends. I'm very familiar with Doyle, played against him last year, and, I respect this game. Ebron, I don't know much about him, watch him on film, he flashed, but, I thrive in these type of matchups, man, and I'm excited about this matchup for sure. So, know we're going to get some opportunities, specifically in the man cover situations, and, you got to be excited about that.
To Sean Gibson there, what kind of season has T-Gip had?
He's had a very good season, I think. And I think he had a good season last year, particularly. The coaching staff will tell you that. And I think the coaching staff is very honest in their evaluation of these players, what they feel. And I thought Gibson, Doug Marrone said he thought he was a Pro Bowl snub last year. Should have been on the team. He's come in some high-profile matchups and played pretty well, I think. And certainly when you point to issues on the defense, he'd be long down the list before you got to anything with T-Gip today. It is interesting, though. Doyle, a little bit more of a possession guy. Ebron's been a big red zone threat. I think Doyle is the guy they wanted to get the ball to more, but when he got hurt, Ebron really stepped up in a big way, bigger than he has at any point in his career. So I think Andrew Luck goes in as feeling pretty confident. Even if Gibson can kind of take one of these guys or neutralize one, the other one could come through for him today.
Dangerous today for the Jaguars defense against this Colts offense. Coming up on the second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show, we'll get to more top headlines of the week. Nickel cornerback DJ Hayden is back, and he visits with Mike Dempsey, and the new voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, takes us through Frank Reich's first season as the head coach in Indy. The Jags and the Colts coming up at 1 o'clock in downtown Indianapolis, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
In Florida, bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as everyone else on the road. So when you ride, follow the rules. Always wear a helmet and use lights on your bike. And drivers, watch for cyclists. Give them space to ride. And don't forget, when making that right on red, look to your right first to see if a cyclist is approaching in the bike lane. We all have a responsibility to keep ourselves and each other safe. Alert today, alive tomorrow. Because safety doesn't happen by accident. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
In football, adding a key player at the right position could be huge for any team. The same thing is true in the business world, and nobody knows that better than Web.com. Not only are they a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're the key marketing player to hundreds of businesses right here in Jacksonville. Visit Web.com to get a free review of your website and online marketing. It's like getting a key player to try out for your business for free. Just visit Web.com to get your free review.
Attention Jags fans, this is your chance for you and 3 of your friends to fly to Houston to see the Jaguars take on the Houston Texans December 30th. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win airfare, hotel stay, and tickets to the big game, all covered. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. So it's simple. Pick up your phone, go to the App Store, and search for the free Money Pages app. Good luck, and go Jaguars!
Score a touchdown by giving the gift of life this holiday season. Donate blood at the Jaguars' first annual Holiday Hero Tailgate Blood Drive. Appearances by the Roar of the Jaguars cheerleaders and mascot Jackson DeVille. Blood donors receive a free game ticket to the Jacksonville Jaguars versus Washington Redskins, 1 blood fleece blanket, and a wellness checkup. Reserve your seat Monday, November 26th, 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. in the U.S. Assure Club East at TIAA Bank Field. Find out more at oneblood.org/1010XL.
Keeping up with bills can leave you in a forest of paperwork, but it's in your power to save time and trees by signing up for JEA's e-bill program. That way, you can receive your account statements online wherever you are, even from your mobile device. And with online bill pay, you can pay your bill with a touch of a button. That's convenience you can count on. To sign up for e-bill, visit JEA.com. JEA. Building community, a hassle-free community.
Jaguars owner Shad Khan on creating the best customer experience.
Game day is special, and when the Jags take the field, we want every fan to have the best game day possible. That's why we partnered with Dailies. They even have 3 locations in the stadium. They know what makes for a great customer experience. From the kickoff kit program to the way they treat our fans at the game, it's like they say, it's nicer here. I can't think of a better game day partner. I also happen to like their coffee.
To experience what Shad is talking about, visit a Dailies at TIAA Bank Field or any of our 29 Jacksonville locations.
I'm Tony Smith with your 1010XL local sports update. The 15th-ranked Florida Gators outscored South Carolina and former head coach Will Muschamp by 14 in the fourth quarter and got the home win in comeback fashion, 35-31 yesterday afternoon to improve to 7-3 on the year. The Gators outrushed Carolina 367-147 in the win. Florida State up in South Bend to take on third-ranked Notre Dame, and the Fighting Irish beat the Noles handily 42-13. With the loss, FSU drops to 4-6 on the season with games against Boston College and the Gators left on the schedule. They have to win both if they want to go to a bowl. Notre Dame now 10-0 on the season. They play Syracuse next week. Reports indicate that Pittsburgh Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell is not expected to report to the team by Tuesday's deadline. He has to report by then if he's going to play this season. A couple of injury updates as well. Sammy Watkins not expected to play today for Kansas City. Rob Gronkowski won't play for New England against Tennessee. Running back Sony Michel could play today according to the latest reports. I'm Tony Smith. This has been your 1010XL local sports update. More of the Publix Tailgate Show with JP Shadrick and Mike Dempsey coming up next.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. 1 o'clock, the kickoff time for the Jags and the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium. Happy Veterans Day weekend, by the way, to everyone.
To all the vets, certainly,
yes,
out there,
no
including my father-in-law, my brother-in-law. Appreciate those guys.
Yeah, Dad back home. A vet of the Navy. We were remiss. We missed that the first hour, but it is Veterans Day weekend. By the way, coming up in about 15 minutes on ESPN television, I don't normally want to send listeners away from the program, but Sean Karpf, who is in the Jaguars strength and conditioning program here, Army veteran who was injured, has a Purple Heart. He's on the full-time staff with the Jaguars strength staff. He'll be featured on ESPN's Countdown show that's coming up.
Set your DVRs.
Check it out. That's coming up at about 11:15 or so.
Listen to us. Set your DVR for that. Go back and watch it many times when you want.
Great guy, and glad he's being honored today on ESPN. So check that out after the show.
Of course.
Between now and kickoff. The Jags and the Colts, division game. Jags are 0-2 in the division. 0-3, forget about it. 0-2, forget about it, really. But you've lost 2 home games already in the division. You're going on the road today, and you've got a lot of just issues right now to try to figure out coming off the bye week. Most notably is that you're in last place in the division right now.
Right. It's funny how the Colts at the same record have a completely different feeling because they've won 2 games in a row, and that coincided with the return of Marlon Mack, and the offense has been scoring nearly 35 points a game over the last month or so. So they feel good about themselves. There's talk that, hey, the Colts are a dangerous team in the AFC playoff picture. Well, they're in the same position the Jags are. They're at 3-5, and they need some help. And it just really says a lot about how recent history impacts the attitude and perception of a team. And look, I think the recent history, it's not just that the Jags lost, it's how they lost. You look at them and say, can this offense get going? Is Leonard Fournette enough to jumpstart it? Where the Colts saying, you know what? Our defense is playing a little bit better because our offense is possessing the ball longer. It's keeping them off the field. And having Andrew Luck back, we're just a completely different team. It shows you the value of having an elite quarterback, which I think anyone who understands the NFL knows that he is that. So, hey, look, doesn't mean the Jags can't go out there and beat Andrew Luck and company today. But you're right. I don't think you're out of it at 0-2 in the division. But you practically have to go 4-0 in the rest of your division games to have a realistic chance, certainly to win the AFC South, if not make it a wild card.
Let's get to the top stories today, starting off with the return of running back Leonard Fournette. He's back in the lineup today, and Nathaniel Hackett, the play caller, loves it.
You definitely enjoy handing him the football and watch him run with aggressiveness. I think it's good for the whole team. Everybody loves watching him run, and it's one of those things. It's going to be exciting. We've got 3 guys back there that have all done it and done it to a high level, and we need to get them all going.
We'll see if Leonard Fournette can jumpstart this offense today. I mean, it was last week against a really good run defense, or 2 weeks ago in London against the Philadelphia Eagles. They only ran twice in the second half. But some of that's the game plan, some of that's the personnel you have and available.
I don't think it was the game plan going in. I think the game plan was clearly to run the football, and Doug Marrone said they basically got spooked when Carlos Hyde ran for 7-2 and then on a 3rd and 1 was stuffed for a 1-yard loss, and he lost confidence in their ability to block it. That's my question, JP. Do they just say because it's Leonard Fournette, we're going to force feed him 20 carries, or if they struggle early in this game, are they going to stick with it or not, right? I mean, they want to be a power running team. The offensive line is as healthy as it's going to be the rest of the year, period. And there's nobody on the injury report on the offensive line.
They made a change at tackle, it sounds like.
Right. Eric Flowers has been here long enough that it looks like he's going to start at left tackle today, so they feel he's a better option than Josh Wagner. So this is as good as it's going to get likely for you on the O-line going forward. You've got 100% healthy Leonard Fournette coming into this game. You've got to be committed. If this is your philosophy, now, you can run into a brick wall only so many times before you have to change it up. But that's my question today. If they struggle early, will they stay with it? Because they haven't done that in the last month.
We heard from Jalen Ramsey in the locker room this week. Jaguars cornerback asked about the feeling in the locker room this week.
I think the mood is cool. Very optimistic about these next 8 we have coming up. Well, we got to take it week by week, of course, but we do know we have 8 more, so the opportunity is great. We can kind of try to do what we envisioned to do in the first 8, but just make it happen in these last 8.
Yeah, there's Jalen Ramsey there, an outlook for this Jaguars team after the first half did not go as well as they certainly envisioned this year. Telvin Smith banged up in the game in London. He's been on the injury report this week, battling through a shoulder issue. This week he said it's good to go.
It was a small factor. It affected a couple plays out there, but adjusted to it, got right, got mentally right, getting right this week, going to be ready to go. Well, this game is physical, and it's not like, I don't sit here and don't, dwell on it because everybody's facing something, whether it's a toe, a shoulder, or a knee, or whatever it may be. But it's a physical game, and you got to go out and be mentally prepared to take that physical toll on your body.
There's Telvin Smith, Jaguars linebacker. Came out of the game for a minute, came back in London, and he's been on the report. We'll find out in about 20 minutes the official inactives for this game, but for Telvin, this linebacker crew as a whole, I think, is probably underachieved this year.
They need to play a lot better, period. They do. Whether it's Telvin, Miles Jack, and anybody else that complements those 2 guys who are supposed to play at a Pro Bowl level. That's the expectation with them. And Miles Jack, got some preseason kudos as a potential Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Telvin Smith has been a Pro Bowler. Neither of these guys playing close to that so far this season. Still half a year to get it turned around.
All right, those are some of today's top stories. This portion of the Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. We'll return with Lamb at Large, plus a visit with the new radio voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor. We're about 20 minutes away from the enactus for today's game, the Jaguars and the Colts at 1 o'clock in downtown Indy. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In the mid-'90s, I bought a piece of land in Austin with a credit card check and built the very first micro-distillery in the history of the state of Texas. I'd never built a still before, so I did some research and designed and built my own pot stills based on Prohibition-era bust photos I found in the library. I didn't know then that this was kind of the start of the American craft distilling movement, right here in Austin, Texas. Cheers! 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
At VyStar, we believe in better convenience, so members can bank any way they want, whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 fee-free ATMs across North America. We believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join VyStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Installing an anti-theft system, performing scheduled maintenance, buying extended warranties. You do everything you can to protect your car. Despite that, there are no guarantees that your car will protect you from a negligent driver. If you've been injured in an auto accident, get the protection of Farah & Farah. Call us now at 396-5555. Farah & Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979. Office Jacksonville.
With Xfinity Mobile, you can switch your wireless carrier and save money. All you need to do is BYOP to an Xfinity store today. Ma'am, BYOP stands for Bring Your Own Phone, not Piglet.
Oh, bring your own phone.
Wait, so it's not piano?
No, sir, it's Bring Your Own Phone. Bring your phone to an Xfinity store and switch to Xfinity Mobile, a new wireless network designed to save you hundreds a year. Get the most Wi-Fi hotspots where you need them and the best 4G LTE everywhere else. Ask how to get Xfinity Mobile included with Xfinity Internet, so all you pay for is data.
Guess I better take Polly home then.
Bring your phone! Get started with Xfinity Internet for just $29.99 a month for 12 months with 1-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $100 prepaid card when you bring in an eligible phone. Visit XfinityMobile.com/BYOP to learn more. Offer ends 10/28/18. Requires EcoBill, paperless billing, and autopay. Restrictions apply. Limited to performance starter internet for new customers. Equipment taxes and fees extra and subject to change. After agreement, regular rates apply. Prepaid card offer limited to select eligible iPhones. Must activate new Xfinity mobile line and port number within the first 60 days.
Register today at jaguars.com/flyaway, and you and a guest could be off on a Texas adventure, courtesy of Smart Pharmacy. Fly with the team to watch the Jags take on the Houston Texans on December 30th. You and a guest will enjoy 2 seats on the team plane, lodging at the team hotel, ground transportation, and pregame sideline passes. For a chance to win this exclusive Smart Pharmacy experience, visit jaguars.com/flyaway for complete details. Good luck, and let's go Jags. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. It's Week 10. The Jags and the Colts kick off at 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indy. Jaguars Radio Network coverage starts at noon with countdown to kickoff, and we'll take you all the way up to the opening kick as always. Each week, as always, we visit with the guru, David Lamb, in studio this week with Lamb at Large.
Boy, I am feeling so good. I do wish I could have that deep voice like JP and Mike, but other than that, I'm feeling good. Back's feeling better, and it's a wonderful day for football. You know, all of us misuse the term must win. You know, the only time it's a must win is if a team faces elimination. But that doesn't mean that every NFL game isn't important, and many are critical. Think about it. Every NFL game is comparable to 5 NBA games, 10 Major League Baseball games. So they are very important. And as the Jaguars start the second half, they're a mess. 0-4 the last 4 games. They really have stunk up the joint. Can they turn it around? Yes, because this is the NFL and turnarounds can be made quickly, but it is a mess. Will Leonard Fournette help? Probably, maybe. If you're a Jaguar fan, you certainly hope so. But there's no quick fix for this team right now. There's a lot of things going on. Think about it. There's certainly execution problems. We've seen most of these players perform at a higher level, so it's fair to say that they're not executing as well as they can and as they have. Certainly there are emotional problems. Or is their head screwed up with this? All of a sudden they go from 3-1 to 3-5, and what's going on? And is the locker room, how is it? Are people in there pretty happy? There's physical problems, all the injuries. They're getting a little bit better. And their communications problems. We've seen Jaguars almost in every game, a player going right when he should be going left. And then, of course, there's communications problems inside the locker room. Boy, what a classic it was this week. A.J. Boyer says, I'm not playing. 20 minutes later, Coach Doug Marrone says, I don't know anything about that. I understand that Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck had no comment on the situation. But anyway, so there are a lot of issues, but like I said, it can be turned around quickly. But today, how important is today's game? It's critical. It's like critical on steroids. They can't dig a deeper hole. So this is when they've got to get it together. We've got to find out, have any of these players thrown in the towel? Today's game may tell us a lot. Is the locker room still have any confidence or trust in Blake Bortles? I think we'll find out some of that today. Does Doug Marrone still have total control of this team? There are a lot of answers, a lot of questions to be answered up at Indianapolis today, and right now I think you'd have to say it doesn't look good for the Jaguars. But I keep going back to, and I've said this for years and years, it's the NFL. There are no really bad players in the NFL. If you make an NFL roster, you're a good football player. If you're a starter in the NFL, you're a really good football player. And if you're a star in the NFL, you're a great football player. And so these guys are capable. We've seen them do it, but they got to start it today. And the truth of the matter is, guys, I guess I'm going to play the odds. They've lost 4 in a row. Most NFL teams don't lose 5 in a row. I think the Jaguars win today. I think maybe Leonard Fournette gives them a little mental boost, and maybe his running will help a little bit. But I think there are enough veterans on this team, enough guys who've been to Pro Bowls. Clearly they must have pride. You don't reach that level without a lot of pride. So playing the odds, they're not going to lose 5 in a row. They win at Indy, and then next week, it's basically the same situation all over again. It's a critical game on steroids. So just how about this for our original thought? Just one at a time. Just win today and worry about next week and see how it goes. But I got a feeling we're going to be happy at the end of this day with the Jaguars playing up in Indianapolis.
All right, David Lamb with Lamb at Large. Not just critical, it's critical on steroids.
Yes.
That's how critical this game is. Not a must-win by definition.
I think critical on steroids, I think I may have invented that phrase. I don't know.
I think you just did.
Yes, I think that. What do you think, Mike? Have you ever heard it?
See if it catches on. I've never heard it before.
Well, maybe if you use it, and JP uses it a few times over the.
I don't want to steal
I'm going to pass, I think.
No, I have no problem. I encourage you to use it.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
we want it to become part of the language of football.
The lingo of Jaguars football.
I hope so.
Critical on steroids.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dave.
David Lamb with Lamb at Large. Let's get into the Indianapolis Colts perspective on today's game against the Jags. The Colts are 3-5 also, but they won 2 straight before their bye last week. Matt Taylor, the new radio play-by-play man for the Colts radio network. First off, how are you settling into the new role up there?
It's fantastic. It's a great deal of fun. I mean, it's one of those things where you're living out a dream, so to speak, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of material to kind of organize and get ready for game day. But it's just like being a player. Once you get to game day, that's why you do all that work. That's why you do all that practice and studying and memorizing and everything. So once you get to Sunday, that's when you kind of let her rip, and that's when you're in your element, and it couldn't be a better time right now.
For the Indianapolis Colts, a little bit of a struggle to start the season, but a couple of wins before this bye week coming into Week 10. How's Frank Reich settling into his role as the head man, his first year as the head coach? We all know the situation in the offseason to get him there. But it seems like they're starting to figure out a way to work things, especially on the offensive side.
Yeah, I think Frank, the best way to describe Frank, he's the same guy, whether they're, up 20, which was the case against the Buffalo Bills, or, down a couple of touchdowns against New England on a short week on a Thursday night in Week 5. He's got the same cool, calm, and steady demeanor. So he's fitting in very nicely with the Colts. And the scheme offensively is really starting to take shape. Andrew Luck is coming back, and he's proved all the doubters wrong with his shoulder from a health standpoint. But they've really started to find some balance here lately, especially in the running game. The Colts have ran for over 200 yards in each of the last 2 weeks. That hasn't happened since 1985. Marlon Mack has really started to emerge as their go-to kind of bell count running back. He's been over 100 yards in each of the last 2 weeks, ran for a career-high 132 2 weeks ago against the Oakland Raiders. So the first couple of weeks of the season, JP, was all about the passing game and Andrew Luck and that offensive line trying to figure their way through the newness and the new scheme. Andrew Luck was on pace for, to just shatter all of the attempts records in the NFL. There was one back-to-back weeks or a scenario where Andrew Luck attempted 121 passes in 2 weeks in about 5 days, from a Sunday to a Thursday nighter. But the last couple of games, they've done a nice job of mixing in the run and the pass. And it's really weird when you break it down from a dichotomy standpoint. In 3 wins, Andrew Luck is attempting about 28 passes per game. In their 5 losses, that number's around 50. So they've clearly found the right formula that they want to win with so far this season.
It sounds familiar down here in Jacksonville. When you throw the ball a little too much, that's not a good recipe, even with Andrew Luck. What are his limitations right now physically? Where is he still have a little to be desired in his recovery?
You know what? I can't find any, and we really were talking about that going into the season. The narrative was, how long is it going to take Andrew Luck to be back to Andrew Luck form? Back to 2014 Andrew Luck, before all of this shoulder and injury stuff happened. And in Week 1, the guy attempted, over 50 passes, threw for a season-high 319 yards, and you're like, okay, he's right back to being that guy. The decision-making has improved. The interceptions were there at the beginning of the season, but they have quieted down. He's got 7 touchdown passes and no picks the last 2 games. Right now he's on pace for 46 touchdowns. He's on pace for a career high in completion percentage, attempts, completions. I mean, basically every major quarterbacking stat, he's on pace for a career high. So he has really returned to Andrew Luck form, and the cool thing is that the Colts are winning not necessarily because of Andrew Luck, and that was not the case his first couple of years in the NFL. He had to kind of carry the Colts to those, back-to-back 11-5 seasons. Right now, the defense is playing better, the offensive line is dramatically better, and they found that running game that I talked about. So Andrew Luck he's really right now kind of a part of the equation and not the biggest reason why the Colts have had success.
Interesting stat. We're with Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts. Interesting stat about the Colts offense. 17 tight ends have caught a touchdown this year. Unbelievable in Indy. Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue the Colts have the best set of tight ends in the NFL. In fact, they've caught 12 of Andrew Luck's 23 passing touchdowns, and there's not a group of tight ends in the NFL that have caught more passes overall than Colts tight ends. In fact, 3 tight ends caught a touchdown pass 2 weeks ago against Oakland. That was the first time ever in NFL history that 3 different tight ends caught a touchdown for the same team in a game. And it's really, it's fascinating because Eric Swope has been out with an injury, and here comes Mo Alley Cox, another former basketball player at VCU. He comes in and makes probably maybe the catch of the year, at least for the Colts, a one-handed snag in the end zone against the Oakland Raiders. And so no matter who it is, guys are coming in and stepping up. Eric Ebron has 7 touchdowns in the season. He's on pace for over 700 yards. He's on pace to shatter his catch record, his targets record. He's been everything and then some as far as the Colts are concerned, coming over in free agency from the Detroit Lions. And then Jack Doyle, he was banged up with a hip injury, but he came back last week or last time out against the Raiders. He had 6 catches for 50 yards or thereabouts and had the game-winning touchdown. So the tight ends are a major part of this offense, and it'll be really interesting to see how the Jaguars combat that, knowing that Frank Reich loves to get those guys dialed up in the passing game.
All right, man, I got to flip it over here now. Everybody, when you think the Colts, you think Andrew Luck and offense and tight end play, and they're running the ball better and all that. But the defense is a little bit forgotten here. They don't have like a superstar name. Give us an idea of what this defense does well and what they can improve upon down the stretch.
So the first guy you need to pay attention to on the Colts defensive side of the ball is Darius Leonard, the rookie out of South Carolina State. It's an FCS school. The Colts took him in the second round, and he has been everything that the Colts have dreamed from the will linebacker standpoint. The guy is on pace to just shatter all kinds of records from a tackling standpoint. Right now he leads the NFL with 88 tackles, and he missed a game. He's got 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and twice already this season he's been named the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Week. He's coming off that second honor just last week in Week 8. So he's the guy that is really all over the place for the Colts. He's forcing fumbles. He's recovering fumbles. It just seems like every time the Colts have a turnover or a takeaway on defense, he's a part of it somehow. And speaking of that, that's really the biggest difference for the Colts this year on defense compared to last year, is they're being a lot more opportunistic. They're third right now in total takeaways with 16. They have at least 1 takeaway in every single game. And I know that their sack total has kind of slowed down here a little bit, but they're being a lot more efficient as far as getting after the quarterback this year compared to last year. Right now, I believe they have 21 sacks. They have over 40 tackles for loss. So that's really the best way to describe the Colts. They're a big play defense, but they're also unfortunately bend but don't break. You could describe them that way as well. They give up a lot of long drives. They don't give up a lot of big plays. But what they don't do is they don't get off the field on third down, and they're giving up a lot of easy completions, if you will. Opposing quarterbacks are completing about 70% of their throws on them, so they're having a hard time getting off the field on third down and making that drive-altering play that they need to kind of stem the tide. But they are very good as far as recording interceptions and being opportunistic and force fumbles. But that might be a recipe for success, unfortunately, from a Colts standpoint against the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they can run the ball and Blake Bortles can get rid of it quickly in that high completion passing game, so to speak.
Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts. He has been with the Colts on the sidelines for a number of years, the manager of radio there as well, and elevated to the play-by-play voice early in this preseason. We thank him for his time this week. We'll return on the Publix Tailgate Show. Nickel cornerback DJ Hayden visits with Mike Dempsey. Their conversation right around the corner. The Jags and the Colts coming up in Week 10 at Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indianapolis. The 1 o'clock kickoff time, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Follow the Jaguars non-stop when you fly from Jacksonville International Airport. JAX has convenient non-stop service to every single away game this season. Watch the Jags take on teams in New York, Kansas City, Dallas, Indianapolis, Buffalo, Nashville, Miami, Houston, and Minneapolis. So huddle with the family, formulate your game plan, and book your flights today. A complete list of non-stop flights from JAX can be found at flyjax.com.
Only in Jacksonville can you tour a state-of-the-art hospitality show home before a game. Hi, this is Lauren Brooks. Make it a point to visit the Dreamfinders Home's newest stadium home before any home Jaguars game. Take a free tour and register for a chance to win amazing grand prizes. Dreamfinders Homes will select one winner per home game. Only at Dreamfinders Homes Stadium Home 2.0 by Gate 4 at TIAA Bank Field. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Okay, so we're here to see who's going to go for the win.
First off, Molly took it to the next level with the chairs and the coolers.
Here comes Emma, bringing it with those killer boots and that portable grill. Oh my, I think she's going for it.
Mom, I think the hot dogs are on fire.
Hold on, honey. Ladies, where did you go to get ready for the game?
Stein Mart. Visit any one of our 6 locations in Jacksonville for all your tailgating needs as we proudly support the Jaguars this season. Stein Mart. Saving is a beautiful thing.
When you look around, you might feel pride is in short supply these days. Everything's being disrupted. But Ford has been around for 115 years, and we know the only constant is change. So, disruption, yeah, it's what we do every day. You see, we still take pride in what we build and how we build. We even take pride in taking pride. And the world could use more of that right now. Because if you don't believe in what you're doing, why do it at all? Build Ford proud.
Jaguars fans, Ashley Home Store is where you'll find the perfect Tempur-Pedic mattress to power your life. As the #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer in America and the official furniture and mattress store of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashley Home Store offers Jaguars fans special pricing and 72 months no-interest financing. Just tell them the Jaguars sent you. Plus, a portion of every mattress sold helps provide free beds to local children in need. Shop for Tempur-Pedic at Ashley Home Store today and go Jaguars. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
The First Coast will see green when the Jacksonville Jaguars take the field this season thanks to SunPass. For every regular season first down recorded by the Jaguars in 2018, SunPass will make a donation toward the planting of new trees in Jacksonville. A run by Leonard Fournette, a pass from Blake Bortles, every first down turns over a new leaf right here in Northeast Florida. Visit jaguars.com/trees to learn more about First Downs for Trees presented by SunPass. Get ready to go green, Jags fans. #JagsPlantTrees.
I'm Tony Smith with your 1010XL local sports update. The 15th-ranked Florida Gators outscored Carolina, and former head coach Will Muschamp by 14 points in the fourth quarter got the home win in comeback fashion, 35-31 to improve to 7-3 on the year. The Gators outrushed South Carolina 367-147 in the win. Florida State was up in South Bend to take on third-ranked Notre Dame, and the Fighting Irish beat the Noles handily 42-13. The final with the loss, FSU drops to 4-6 on the year with games against Boston College and the Florida Gators left on the schedule. They need to win both if they're going to get to a bowl game. Notre Dame now 10-0 on the season. They will play Syracuse next week. Breaking here in the last 15 minutes, Louisville has fired head football coach Bobby Petrino. The Cards are 2-8 on the season, 0-7 in the ACC. Reports indicate that Pittsburgh Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell is not expected to report to the team by Tuesday's deadline. He has to report by Tuesday if he's going to play this season. A couple of injury updates from around the league as well. Sammy Watkins not expected to play today for Kansas City. Gronkowski not expected to go for New England and against the Titans, but Sony Michel could be back in the lineup. I'm Tony Smith. This has been your 1010XL local sports update. More of the Publix Tailgate Show next.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
We're back. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HannaniaAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. It's Week 10, the Jags and the Colts at 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium. Time for the inactives. We start off with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Players down today, 7 will sit, including A.J. Boye, the Jaguars cornerback. We found out about that on Wednesday when he said he was out, and it was a bit of a surprise to Doug Marrone, he said in the press conference, but it is confirmed. A.J. Boye is inactive in the game. Dave Williams, the running back, inactive. D. Delaney, cornerback, inactive. Quentin Meeks, who played well in London but was also injured in London, is inactive. The cornerback. Eli Anku, defensive tackle, is out. Laurenti McCray had a hamstring issue all week. Defensive end is inactive today, and he could have taken a step up maybe in some reps without Dante Fowler in this lineup now. And Chris Reed, the offensive lineman, inactive. The one lineup change announced by the Jaguars PR staff is Tyler Patman starting for A.J. Boye. No word on Eric Flowers in a starting role as of yet. The National Report said he would make his debut with the Jaguars. Now, that could mean maybe he's going to come in a different situation. Maybe he's on the field on special teams. That would officially be a debut. But when you hear that, you think maybe on the offense we'll see what the game holds in that position.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets in. And despite the fact that Patman is replacing Boyd, it doesn't mean he'll necessarily play outside. It could be DJ Hayden on the outside and Patman in the slot, but he will be in his stead in the lineup. Here are the Colts inactives for this game. Offensive lineman Denzel Good will not suit up, nor will cornerback Nate Hairston. Tight end Ryan Hewitt. Another tight end, Eric Swope, is also out today. Mike Mitchell, who Leonard Fournette beckoned over to him in the Pittsburgh game last year and then got a face full of stiff arm from Leonard, will not be suiting up today, so no replay of that one. Hassan Ridgeway, a defensive tackle, and Kimuko Toure, a defensive end, all out today for the Colts.
Inactives are in. DJ Hayden is not among those for the first time in a while. The Jaguars' nickel cornerback back on the field. He sat down with you this week.
Yeah, he's a guy that they talked about. One thing, maybe he wasn't as strong in nickel as Aaron Colvin, but he had more versatility, and we'll see if it shows up today because one of the things the Jaguars liked about him was his ability to move outside. They thought he was a better option if one of the top corners was injured, that DJ Hayden could fulfill that role better than Colvin would have, and he played well, off to a good start this year. I know it was frustrating for him to miss all that time, so that's one of the things we delved into today. Here's my conversation with DJ Hayden. Brought to you by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Going to sit down for a few minutes with Jaguar cornerback DJ Hayden. It's got to feel good to be back, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm well, man. I'm just glad to be back on the field with my teammates, and I'm just ready.
What was this week like to be back at full practice, no restrictions, to do what you love to do?
Basically, this week was just shaking the rust off. I've been out with a toe injury for the last 5 to 6 weeks, and just being out of football that long, especially when we're deep in the season and the key parts of the season, and for me missing that time, I mean injuries happen, but now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go out there and work hard, and make plays.
How frustrating is it to see? It's what you love, man. It's what you've done your whole life. You built towards this. And you come in, you're off to a good start. Everybody's saying you were playing really well the first couple weeks of the season. To see your team struggle and not being able to help them, that's got to be just a kind of a helpless feeling.
Yeah, it's very frustrating, and it can wear on you mentally if you let it. But you just got to keep pushing forward, focusing on what you can control. And for me, that was just getting healthy and just trying to get healthy as fast as possible so I can be back out there with my team.
Was it turf toe that you were dealing with
specifically?
Describe that to people, because people, I think for years they hear oh, this guy's got a toe injury. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's not any joke when you've got turf toe, is it?
Man, turf toe actually ended a lot of people's careers, and especially it's almost like a jammed toe. But us, especially at a skill position, we do a lot of quick movements with our feet and stuff. So if you can't plant and explode and off your feet, if you can't run, then it's hard for us to play. I mean, it's easier for old linemen because they're not really running as much as we are.
Sure.
But me being a DB, especially in the inside, I have a lot of lateral quick movements that I have to do, and with turf toe, man, it just limits it, man. It's really painful out there, and then it can limit you, and I didn't want to be out there hurt and hurt my team even worse. So, I mean, I'm good now, though.
That's the important thing, man. I know Jaguar fans are happy to have you back, hopefully in the nick of time. Can you gain perspective from watching your team, be it on the sidelines or on film, if you're, a different kind of perspective than when you're actually in the midst of it on the field?
Yeah, you can see different stuff that they can't see. And when I wasn't playing, I was trying to help those guys out as much as I can, especially with the younger guys coming in for us. But, yeah, you can see some stuff that you can't see on the field, but when you're on the field, it's totally different than coaching. It's easy to coach somebody on the blackboard and say you got to do this, but it's a whole nother story when guys out there actually moving. So, I mean, I try to help them out as much as I can, but I'm back out here and I'm ready to go.
So when you look at the Colts this week as you get ready to play Andrew Luck and the squad up there, what have you seen from this offense?
They're actually pretty good in the red zone, and they got a couple weapons on the team. They got good tight ends. But if we go out there and play the defensive football that we set our standard to, sky's the limit.
How's the attitude been of this team? I mean, it's tough. You lose any time in the National Football League. 4 in a row. It'd be human nature to get down a little bit. Are the guys feeling like, hey, you know what? There's still 8 games to play. This team has plenty of talent. We can get on a run.
I mean, it was frustrating, like, seeing your team lose and us losing. And coming off this bye week and this week of practice, I feel like we really coming back into our old mode of how we kind of were at preseason against, like, the Minnesota, how we run into the ball, we working hard at practice, like, we extra film studies, like, we worked this week. We really did. We put in a lot of work this week, and it's going to pay off on Sunday.
I hope so. I know Leonard Fournette, James O'Shaughnessy, a number of guys are back along with yourself, it looks like, this week. So hopefully a little bit of that swag, and hopefully the results will follow as well. DJ Hayden, hey, good to see you back. Good to see you healthy, man. Go out there and make some plays.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
DJ Hayden, nickel cornerback. It says starting lineup, Patman's going to go outside for Boyer. I'm curious, do you think they could move him around a little bit?
I do. I really do. I mean, he performed well in a nickel role with those two guys, but I think Patman, honestly, is a little more comfortable in the slot, and I think we're going to see maybe some, depending on personnel packages, maybe some interchangeability between the two today, but I think it's a nice luxury to have because they feel that DJ Hayden is a solid guy on the outside. So whether he starts there or not, I expect him to spend some of his time on the outside today.
Good visit with DJ Hayden there. Now time for another visit we have each week, and another very good one each and every week. Jag sideline reporter Rick Ballou. We call it Has Rick Lost It?
Well, thank you very much, guys. You know, I love it. The theme of this week is a must-win. And what is a must-win? I mean, I'm confused here. I mean, 13 times since 1990, teams who have been 3-5 have only gone on to make it to the playoffs. So, if they win today, do they still have a chance? Well, what if they lose next week to Pittsburgh? And vice versa. What if they lose today? Of course, I'm talking about the Jags, go to 3-6, but they turn around and upset the Steelers next week. They're still 4-6. Is it just talk? I don't know. Bottom line, this football team needs to start right now today and get things rolling on a positive way. And that's the way it went during practice, talking about changes, preparation, technique, assignments. How about attention to detail even during walkthroughs? They're trying everything. The bottom line for this football team, they got to find a way to run it. They led the league a year ago in rushing. We know that Leonard Fournette is back today after missing 6 games with a hamstring. They're 24th in running the football right now. And consider the fact that against Philadelphia, even it being a one-possession football game, the last 41 snaps, they only ran it a couple of times, just blows you away. Now, you look at the Colts. They've had success in this building. Heck, they blew them out home and away last year by the combined score of 57-10. But I talked about running it. Can they do it 30-some-odd times? You hope so, because Andrew Luck on the opposite end, he wants to pass the football 43 times a game. He averaged throwing the football. I mean, just think about that for a moment. As much as Blake has thrown it, that's 7 more a contest for Andrew Luck. So it's a totally different philosophy today. The Colts are going to throw it, whether they're trailing, whether it's a one-possession game, or they have a big lead. For the Jaguars, JP and Mike, it's about simplifying some things, getting back to the basics, and becoming what they were a year ago, where they were able to run the football. If that's the case, which I think it will be, I like the Jags to get off the schneid today and win a football game by the score of 20-16.
20-16. Rick Ballou with Has Rick Lost It. Ricky, how was downtown Indy last night, by the way?
A lot of fun. We all went out, radio team, for the first time this year, all of us together. It was a very chilly night, and the good thing the game is indoors, because I think that would be a factor for us as the broadcast crew. I don't know about the players during the game. But, yeah, Indy's a nice town. It's a condensed town, and we had a real good steak, and it was a great night. But, obviously around here, this team is playing. It's interesting. They're 3-5. Jacksonville is 3-5, but they can almost see the light at the end of the tunnel, at least a glimmer of it, where, of course, right now in Jacksonville they have not met the preseason expectations.
Different feeling, 3-5
no
over
doubt.
Indianapolis for sure. Ricky, have a great day in the climate-controlled Lucas Oil Stadium.
Should be a lot of fun, guys. Thanks.
There he is, Rick Ballou on the sidelines for Jaguars Radio. Coming up on the Publix Tailgate Show, we'll visit with the Ozone, another guy who built that stadium up there.
I probably still gets rent on it when other teams come in to use the facility, I would imagine, yeah.
Senior writer John Ozier.
Might be making money today.
He joins us live from Lucas Oil Stadium. Logs and Baselli, Back for some final thoughts as well. Jaguars Radio Network coverage starts at noon with countdown to kickoff. We're a little over an hour away from Week 10, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
In football, adding a key player at the right position could be huge for any team. The same thing is true in the business world, and nobody knows that better than Web.com. Not only are they a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're the key marketing player to hundreds of businesses right here in Jacksonville. Visit Web.com to get a free review of your website and online marketing. It's like getting a key player to try out for your business for free. Just visit Web.com to get your free review.
If you are considering selling your home or just wondering what your home might be worth, it's important to talk with someone you can trust, a Weichert agent. Your Weichert agent will prepare a marketing plan that will help you arrive at the optimum selling price and will expose your home to more buyers faster. Contact a Weichert Realtors affiliate today by calling 1-800-USA-SOLD or visit Weichert.com to find the office nearest you. Weichert, local, knowledgeable, personal service. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Tony Baselli. It's no secret that I love the sandwiches at Daly's Dash. But there's one sandwich that stands above the rest of them, and it keeps me coming back over and over again. It's called the Boss. They pile that bad boy with lots of roast beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions, and of course some Dash sauce. Which, as much as I travel during football season, this sandwich is one more thing that makes me eager to get back to Jacksonville. I could eat the Boss every day. Daly's, a local Jacksonville company. It's nicer here.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank Field. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today, the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is the Pepsi that gets you stuff. Crack one open, and you could get a Weber grill or an acoustic guitar. Because when you collect codes on specially marked Pepsi products, you'll get summer rewards from Pepsi Stuff. We'll even get you tickets to see Dierks Bentley.
I like the sound of that.
We do too, Dierks.
Grab the Pepsi, enter the codes, get the stuff.
Drink Pepsi, get stuff. Pepsi Stuff Rewards Program subject to official rules at PepsiStuff.com. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. All rewards subject to availability and may have limited quantities while supplies last.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate Show. The Jags and the Colts tee it up at 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. Check out the daily shows on Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Jags Drive Time Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Jaguars Happy Hour Monday through Thursday at 4 on the official team website, Jaguars.com and Jags social media. Now a visit with the Ozone.
The Ozone.
Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joins us from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Good morning, John.
Hey, guys. Pretty good pregame spread here. As such, he of little willpower, Tony Baselli's not with us.
Okay.
And so it's Jeff Logan and myself.
Okay.
So we'll be breaking it down for you.
Very nice.
The food is actually pretty good. I can't wait to get to it after we're done here.
Let's start with a note off the injury report and the inactive list today, John. Then we'll get to some big picture stuff here. Laurenti McCray was on the report all week, limited with a hamstring issue, questionable for the game. He is inactive today. He might have gotten some of those pass rushing reps that Dante Fowler would have had after the trade, but he's out today, so Dwan Smoot might get some of that play, guys. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, and a big opportunity. a chance to prove himself for Smoot and some urgency to that. I mean, he needs to play better. He needs to play better than he did during training camp when he was out. He's got a lot to prove, and he's going to get a chance.
Well, he should be fresh, and I was expecting McCray to be able to kind of get well enough with that hamstring to be able to play today, and obviously, he's a captain. And look, I have all the confidence in the world that he's done everything that he possibly can to get back, and I think,
well, especially because this is an opportunity for him.
Yes, absolutely, and if he can't go, then look, I mean, he's not ready yet. So it is a great opportunity for Smoot. And also,
what kind of
others.
blow is that, Jeff? Because I thought McCray had been playing pretty well.
I mean, it's a big blow. I mean, McCray is a good football player, whether he plays on special teams or whether he plays as a backup to Ngakoue. He gives you quality snaps. He's aware. He is a functional player not only in the run but also the pass because he's got legitimate pass rush skills.
John, you've said it all week. If not now, when for Leonard Fournette? Well, when is now, and I guess the question is, what will you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what you'll see. You hope against hope that you see more than a half because you haven't seen, and now we're seeing Tony Baselli with us, which is just awesome for everybody. But, you hope you see better than what you saw at the end of last season. I hope you see something along the lines of what you saw in the first half against the New York Giants, which was when this offense looked like it could be Fournette-centric and very successful. Are you going to get that? I have no idea. We haven't seen it in 8 weeks.
I think this is a big game for Leonard Fournette from a teammate's standpoint. Because here you have a guy who has played very little and has reportedly missed a few treatments here and there and warmed up in London and looked, for all accounts,
I thought he was going to play.
Pretty good, and to a point where we thought that he was going to play. And he needs to come out and show that his teammates that he's here for them and ready to play and play at a high level, because if he comes out and he doesn't play well or somehow grabs that hamstring and says, it's just not quite there. I mean,
they desperately want to
falling out of
believe in
favor.
him.
You want to talk about falling out of favor with teammates? Wouldn't be good.
They want to believe that he can carry him, and I think he's got to show that he can do it.
He's got to show
it.
Tony Baselli with you guys in the booth now. That's a treat for everyone, of course.
Yeah, he's a little busy checking his fantasy teams. If you guys could just give him a little break.
Yeah, is Mike still there? Because I got some questions.
Hi,
Tony. He is still here. Telvin Smith, shoulder issue. How much of a limit is that for him today, guys?
I think it's a great question, JP, because it led to what was his worst performance as a pro 2 weeks ago in London. And if that shoulder continues to be a problem, I think it's going to affect him the same way, and he's not going to play very well. And this is a game that, look, the Colts have become a more physical team than they have been in recent past. They've got some offensive line play that's pretty good, and Telvin's got to be able to withstand that with or without a bad shoulder. He's got to play at a better level than he did 2 weeks ago.
Johnny, what's the feeling in the what was your take on the feeling in the locker room this week? The times that the media's allowed in there, 45 minutes a day, early on Monday.
What was Dr. Osher, what was your feeling?
I guess
psychiastrist.
Yeah, how was the mood?
Well, I would ask you, Tony, but you weren't there. That's okay.
Dr. Freud.
Yeah.
I guess I would say as expected, meaning, there's sort of a cycle you go through with a team that's losing. First week, they say they're not going to lose 2 in a row. The second week, it's sort of a stand your ground, and then it becomes this talk of must win. At first, they don't want to talk about it, and then all of a sudden, you've said it enough where you finally are to a real must win. It was quiet. I think they're tired of talking until they actually do something on the field to prove that they're as good as they thought they were. I think this is a team on the edge. To me, a big thing this week is how the team responds to adversity. Often when you're on a losing streak, you're really fired up early, and then the first thing that goes wrong, it can slide. I want to see it not slide when things go wrong today.
Yeah, that was, I think, a characteristic of this team that last year, they just – nothing ever bothered them.
Right.
And it didn't matter if they were down or if they had a negative play happen. They felt that their defense would bail them out, that their team could somehow find a way to dig out of the hole.
It almost seems opposite sometimes.
It is totally the opposite feel, and I know we have that
especially on offense. I mean, you start slow, I mean, don't you get the feeling that a fast start is critical today, especially for the offense? Because if they start slow, of 3 and out or just nothing, that it's like, here we go again. We're not going to be productive.
Absolutely, I feel it, and I hate to say that because we haven't seen it since the Jets game. I mean, six offensive points in 4 games, a huge reason why they're 0-4 during that span. I don't have that much confidence you're going to see it again. The thing I want to see is some drive like that first drive against the Giants where Fournette was banging. I think it was a 9-play, 65-yard drive. It ended, it was the first drive, but it was their touchdown drive. It ended when Fournette went out and you had T.J. Yeldon. That's what the offense wanted to be. Hasn't been that enough. Can it get back to Fournette being that? That's the only hope for a fast start to make.
And the question is can you get back to being that? Because
it's been a long time.
The biggest injury really was Austin Seferian-Jenkins, because that was enabling this team to be who they wanted to be, which is a running football team. And then since his injury, you're trying to do it with guys that are like David Greenidge, who looks the part but doesn't play the part, and then a guy that you got off the street in Blake Bell. And now, will James O'Shaughnessy help that? Well, James O'Shaughnessy is a kind of a receiving tight end. So
kind of
can you get back? Well, I mean, can you
it
get
might be
back
as good a blocker as Greenidge, though,
to be in that? And that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. You're talking about a 245-pound tight end being as good of a blocking tight end as Greenidge, who's they list him at 265, but we all know well that he's not 265. He's probably close to 280. But he doesn't block like he's 280.
Well, you got Eric Flowers starting left tackle. So
no, he's not starting.
Oh, he's not?
He's not starting.
So the report was wrong.
Yeah,
the report is wrong.
He's going to play, but not start.
Okay.
It's not coincidental to me. Seferian-Jenkins, Corey Grant, and Josh Wells, all injured against Kansas City, haven't played since then. That was the tipping point for the offense. 6 first-half points since then. Can Fournette's presence alone get him back to something? I don't know. I doubt it.
And we're not going to know until they kick this thing off. But the one thing is for certain, and I'm telling you, you talked about a fast start. That would be great. But it needs to be not so much a fast start, but it just needs this team needs to make sure that it doesn't get down by 10 points early in the ball game, because then everything that they want to do offensively goes out the window.
Jim, I'm telling you, it's a fast start. They have to start fast on offense, because if they don't, even if it's a close game, at some point, I just think Indy's going to score points because they have their offense has played outstanding football, balanced, running the ball.
They're averaging 29 points a game.
I mean, they're playing really well, so they're going to score
35 in the last 5.
They're going to score points, and so at some point, they're going to score. And I think the Jaguars have to score first and get a lead.
Blake Bortles has been fantastic against this team lately. Maybe he can do it again.
He hasn't thrown an interception against Indy since 2014, and we need that to happen today. All right, guys. Hey, Tony, Jeff, have a great call.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It will be an outstanding one. I'm sure John will do okay, too.
I'll try to write well.
Yeah, write well, John.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to reading that writing after the Jags win today over the Indianapolis Colts. There's John Oehser, senior writer with the Ozone. That's it for the Publix Tailgate Show. We'll return with Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Countdown to kickoff coming up. Pete Prisco, Fred Taylor, and the final word with head coach Doug Marrone. We're an hour away from Week 10. The Jags and the Colts in downtown Indianapolis, and from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. This is Jaguars Radio.
The CSI Companies has been getting the people business right for more than 20 years in Jacksonville. CSI proudly opened their doors just as the Jaguars came to town, and they've been valuable business partners for some of Jacksonville's largest companies. Do you have a need for temporary help during a busy time period? Looking for a team of IT consultants for a special project? CSI can help. Call them at 800-582-0828 or go to thecsicompanies.com. Don't partner with just anyone. Partner with the CSI Companies, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you've ever been in a vehicle crash, then you know the impact caused by a collision. Now imagine the force of a crash so great, people are killed. My name is Eric. I sat behind the wheel and drove drunk. I caused a crash that killed 2 young women, Megan and Lisa. Now, I sit alone in my jail cell. Megan and Lisa were taken forever, and their families and friends were left devastated. Don't drink and drive, and remember our roadways are connected to our families.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Be the MVP of your next tailgate with the official wing of the Jacksonville Jaguars from Dick's Wings and Grill. Whether at the stadium or cheering from home, game day every day with Dick's 365 wing varieties, burgers, wraps, and more. And for somewhere to catch all the sports action, Dick's Wings and Grill's 23 area locations have been a local fan favorite for more than 20 years. For the best wings, ice-cold craft beer, and best fans, feed where the big cats feast. Visit DicksWingsAndGrill.com for a location nearest you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Jags fans, your defending AFC South champs are committed to playing at the top of their game. And at TIAA Bank, we're ready to get your money in top form. By opening a yield pledge checking or money market account, you'll be able to unlock some of the most competitive rates in the country. Visit a financial center near you or find us online at TIAABank.com/Jags. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Switch to Comcast Business and get an amazing deal on fast, reliable internet. For a limited time, get started with 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month when you add 2 voice mobility lines. Just one more way Comcast Business goes beyond AT&T. Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business. Beyond fast.
Offer ends 11/21/18. Restrictions apply. New business customers only. 2-year agreement required. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra subject to change. Connection Pro backup limited to up to 6 hours.
Shotgun. Dropping the throw is play. Pump fake. Fires to the back of the end zone. There's D.D. Westbrook. Did he get his feet down? Yes, he did. Touchdown. In the back of the end zone, Blake Bortles to D.D. Westbrook for the score.
Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. Countdown to Kickoff. In the next hour, we'll bring you everything you need to know about today's game and the latest news from around the NFL. You'll hear from Jaguars great Fred Taylor, Pete Prisco, and Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone. Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Let's get the countdown started. Here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
As the second half of the 2018 season gets underway, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in must-win territory. This afternoon, the Jags try to snap a 4-game losing skid in a road divisional game. The Jags at 3-5 face the 3-5 Indianapolis Colts. Kickoff at Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indy, set for 1 o'clock. Welcome into Countdown to Kickoff. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. We're at the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Here we go, Week 10. You've lost 4 in a row. You've lost 2 in the division already. You're going to Indy. You got to get this game to get some kind of confidence for the second half.
Right, even if they had won their last 3 in a row and came in with some momentum, this is still a game that you can't afford to let get away. If you have any designs on repeating as division champs, JP, you can't go 0-3 in the AFC South. When you've got Houston on a 6-game overall winning streak, you've got Tennessee out there ahead of you in the standings. Heck, really, Indianapolis is ahead of you in the standings, depending on how you look at the different tiebreakers that go into it, just simply based on the fact that they played fewer division games. But this is when you got to get today. It's a team you swept last year, much like Houston. And, you know, these teams were expected to be much improved because they're getting quarterbacks back. And the thing was, you felt like, hey, you know what? The Jaguars are still good enough to handle that regardless. But the Jags haven't played up to the same level of football that they did in 2017. So every game's a struggle from here on out.
It is, and it's certainly been a struggle the last 4 weeks. On the offensive side, the first half, they've scored 6 points over the last month in the first half, and that will not win you many football games.
No, and that all came against Philadelphia. And it's, you know, kind of an ignominious way to end the half as Keelan Cole fumbled it, and the defense allowed a quick strike touchdown to Philadelphia. So instead of building a halftime lead, maybe building on a 6-3 lead at that point, they found themselves in a deficit, and the tailspin continued.
All right, let's get to today's top stories then. The Jags and the Colts coming up, getting back after the bye week. Head coach Doug Marrone trying to turn this team around. His statement on Wednesday.
Players came back. They're
seemed focused, which they should be. And the message to the team was basically what I told them is just, learn from the past, but don't live in the past. And in other words, you act upon, the things that you've learned, but kind of take the anger out of it, take the selfishness, saying out of it. And this way we can go out there today and, I'm expecting them to go out there. We're expecting to work hard and give ourselves an opportunity to win a game on Sunday.
There's head coach Doug Marrone, the big picture feel coming off the bye week and 4 straight losses. They do a lot of self-scouting and, soul-searching in some instances this past week or so to figure out how to fix this thing here.
Yeah, it's all that's well and good if you can't go out there and block the guys in front of you, right? Or you can't beat the man in front of you in the case of the defensive line, and that's kind of been the story this year, right? I think the offensive line has underperformed, JP. They're not the sole reason for the struggles on offense, but they're a part of the problem as well. You got 2 guys in Andrew Norwell and Brandon Linder, who at the time they signed their contracts were the highest paid players at their position. You'd figure at least you'd have the ability to run behind those guys. They haven't seemed to be able to move people in the run game. The pass rush on the other side has not been nearly as effective as it was last year, and now you're playing a team today who has not allowed any pass rush to speak of in a while. No sacks in the last 3 games against Andrew Luck. Only 10 on the season, which is an astoundingly low number for any starting quarterback to have faced.
And certainly for that franchise, the way they've gone the last 3 or 4 years.
In recent years, yeah, and that's a tribute to Andrew Luck. Look, they're getting rid of the ball. He's got a very low yards per attempt average because he's been settling for some small stuff. But that's pretty impressive to me because, a few weeks ago, granted, Oakland's bad, but they put up 42 points in that game. And that's a game in which T.Y. Hilton only caught a single pass. So he's been spreading it around to a lot of guys we'd consider no-name guys by NFL standards. And now that they've got a running game in the form of Marlon Mack back, that makes them that much more dangerous.
The Jags could use a running game, and today they'll have their top running back available. Leonard Fournette is active for this game. He was not available for the media this week. Blake Bortles, his quarterback, was, though, and he's excited to have 27 back out there.
He's kind of our guy, and he's been out for 7 weeks or now, whatever it's been. So I know everybody's fired up to have him back in the lineup, I think. I know I'm excited to watch him run. I know guys are excited to block for him and kind of see him go. We got so used to him doing his thing last year and watching that and being able to kind of do everything off of that. So not having him, is made us change some of the things we do, but to be able to have him back and healthy and ready to go is exciting.
Quarterback's best friend is a running game, and it would help, obviously, as you said.
Or a couple of Pro Bowl receivers.
Or that. A few things are, you have a lot of friends. You have a lot of best friends, yes. I guess you want. But it'd be nice to block it up, too. That's, I think, the point Doug Marrone had this week. The confidence goes away when you can't convert on a 3rd and 1 early in the game or whatever it is, and you can't go back to the plays again.
I do think Leonard Fournette has the ability to push the pile more than even Carlos Hyde, who's a good physical running back, certainly more than T.J. Yeldon, but you can't make a living doing that in the National Football. You got to have holes, but the thing about Leonard Fournette is if there is a hole, he's got more talent than those other guys, and he can exploit that hole for more yardage. Now, whether his instincts are as sharp as they need to be, not having played for the last 4 weeks at all, we'll see today. I tend to think that's something that comes naturally to these highly advanced running backs, and Leonard Fournette is that guy. Even if in his rookie campaign, granted, he ran for 3.9 yards a carry, but his presence on the field makes teams defend them differently because he has the ability to go 75 or 90 yards, as we saw last year. You don't get many breakaway plays out of the current Jaguar running game that we've seen this season, so hopefully Leonard Fournette can provide some big play spark.
Tight end-centric offense in Indianapolis.
A bunch of them, man.
They do, and they've had 12 touchdowns this year out of the 23 of Andrew Luck's passing touchdowns go to tight ends. 3 different guys caught one in one game just a few weeks ago. Well, the Jaguars, fortunate enough, the Jags have a tight end whisperer on defense, and it's the safety Tashawn Gibson, confident in the matchup.
They have 2 of them, 2 that they trust, 2 productive tight ends. I'm very familiar with Doyle. Played against him last year, and I respect this game. Ebron, I don't know much about him. Watch him on film, he flashed, but I thrive in these type of matchups, man, and I'm excited about this matchup for sure. So know we're gonna get some opportunities, specifically in the man cover situations, and you got to be excited about that.
There's Tashawn Gibson. We said multiple tight ends. That's one safety right there, though. Tashawn Gibson, he's one guy.
Yeah, right. You're not going to handle both of those guys. And if he can shut down or limit Jack Doyle today, or Eric Ebron for that matter, you still have to contend with the other one. And that's been the thing with the Colts. Eric Swope's out today, but They had Doyle back healthy, and it has been for a couple weeks. So they've got their main two guys that they're going to count on, but they go about 5 deep at the tight end position, and they're not afraid to use any of them.
There you have it, some of today's top stories. The Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts, the first meeting between the division rivals coming up today at 1 o'clock. We'll come back in a moment. A look around the National Football League as we head into Week 10. The Jags and the Colts at 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Looking for a more comfortable way to camp or tailgate at Jags games? Visit Campers Inn RV for their integrity pricing guarantee. With their open and honest buying process, you'll never pay more for freight or dealer prep. There are no hidden fees in their prices ever. And as a proud sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they want to thank you for your support. That's why they're offering this season's game attendees $500 off the purchase of a new RV. Just show them your ticket. So visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, I-10 West, exit 351, or campersinn.com today.
At Papa John's, we like to say, better sausage, better beef, better bacon, better julienne-cut Canadian bacon, better pepperoni. Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium meats pizza made with 5 premium meats free of artificial flavors or fillers. Or our new barbecue meats pizza made with smoky Southern-style barbecue sauce for only $6.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to soar higher and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So go for glory. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Some things make a house your home. Like endless hot water that makes the tranquility from an everyday shower your thing. When heating water with natural gas, you have hot water when you need it, save money, and earn a rebate up to $675. Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
Countdown to kickoff rolls along. The Jags and the Indianapolis Colts today at 1 o'clock in Week 10 at Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indy. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey at the HananiahAutos.com studio. We're at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville as the Jags try to snap a 4-game losing skid. They're coming off the bye week. The Colts, they've won 2 in a row before the bye week last week, and they're playing a little better football. Consider the opponent, though. That's the devil's advocate for the Indianapolis Colts. They've played the Bills and the Raiders the last 2 weeks, but in general, they're playing a little better football. Some close losses this year, too, and they have a quarterback, Andrew Luck, who's starting to find his way around now coming off that shoulder issue. We go around the National Football League, Mike, in Week 10. The turning point of the season and the stretch run underway now.
Oh, you've declared this is the turning point of the season.
This is it, right? The kind of the midway.
If they win,
no, I'm talking about in the NFL's turning point.
League-wide.
I wasn't calling the Jaguars turning point.
Gotcha.
I mean, it could be. In theory.
I'm just trying to, nail you down.
If they win, maybe it is. If they lose, it's not.
All right. Well, the Jags play the Colts today, obviously, in the AFC South. Houston on a 6-game winning streak has the week off as they try to further integrate Demaryius Thomas into their offense. Tennessee today will host New England. So you got to figure, just the odds are Patriots a better team than the Titans. So maybe the Titans pick up a loss there. Jags can move up a little bit in the AFC South with a win of their own. Some other teams are chasing in the wild card hunt include the Chargers, who are in Oakland, heavily favored against the Raiders. But Miami goes into Green Bay, Wisconsin to take on the Packers today with a beat-up offensive line. They've got Josh Sitton, who's been out since week 1. Another offensive lineman doubtful, 2 questionable to play. So that's 80% of the offensive line projected starters this year for the Dolphins banged up. New Orleans is in Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals at 5-3, also ahead of the Jags right now. And the other team currently ahead in the wild card standings would be Baltimore. They're also on a bye. According to multiple reports, running back Le'Veon Bell is not expected to report to the Pittsburgh Steelers by Tuesday's deadline to sign his 2018 franchise tender. Bell's been forfeiting over $850,000 per week up to this point, and If he doesn't show up by 4 p.m. on November 13th, this Tuesday, he'll be ineligible to play for any team for the remainder of the year under the collective bargaining agreement rules. The Steelers, of course, visit Jacksonville to play the Jaguars next Sunday, and their current starting running back, James Conner, is in the league's concussion protocol, although he is expected to get cleared by the time next week's game rolls around. Despite quarterback Josh Allen being out for another week for the Buffalo Bills, reports are today he may be back just in time to face the Jags. Backup Derek Anderson also being unavailable due to injury. The Bills are skipping the next man in line, Jacksonville's own Nathan Peterman, in favor of former USC Trojan Matt Barkley, who last played on the final weekend of the 2016 regular season. Peterman has earned the benching by throwing 3 touchdowns against 12 interceptions in a season and a half in Buffalo. The Bills visit the Jets today, who will start their own backup. Quarterback Josh McCown goes in place of the injured Sam Darnold. Rob Gronkowski ruled out for that aforementioned Patriots game with the Titans, although Sony Michel, who was questionable coming in, will not miss his 3rd straight game. He is active for the Patriots today. Gio Bernard active for the Bengals as well after a month-long absence due to an MCL sprain. But Cincinnati, without the services of A.J. Green, expected to miss at least 2 weeks as he recovers from a toe injury suffered in last week's game. And the Chiefs will not have Sammy Watkins available as he is dealing with a foot sprain, but I have a feeling they'll have enough to get by Arizona nonetheless.
There you have it. The look around the National Football League in Week 10. Xfinity wants you to put Duval on your wall with a free limited edition Jaguars poster available at participating Jacksonville area Xfinity stores. Find a location near you at xfinity.com/store and pick one up while supplies last. We'll come back with Mike Dempsey's weekly visit with CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco, the Jags and the Colts at 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium, and from TIAA Bank Field. This is Countdown to Kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network. You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. SMART.